USA.
A lot of people make jokes about spacing somebody, about shoving somebody out an airlock. I don't think it's funny.
Fighting out of Anytown, USA, by way of Stockton, California. He is the culture war realist, rational individualist, the alpha with nostalgia. He's the hierarchy dominator, the USA crusader. He is the chief executive spacer.
Yo, you think you got enough names?
Patience, Daddy. Almost done.
He is the man behind the United Spacers Alliance. Yeah! And I know the Lord of the Core. I storage in the origin. I know the record like a tech nerd. I've got the hot takes for the bot fix, and most importantly, I am never a victim. Once again, guys, welcome to the premier channel when it comes to the history of the franchise and the lore of Star Wars and many other properties, franchises, universes, and whatever else you want to call them. Hit the like button, share the link on all platforms. It's late, but we are live. We have a lot to talk about. I am tired, not just tired of it. I am literally physically tired. So we're going to try and do a relatively short stream tonight, but it'll still be action-packed and you won't want to miss it. Again, guys, share the link out there and let's get the chat full. Let's see who's in the chat tonight. Tehlim29 showing up early. SWA is here. Using those custom emojis. If you want to be able to use those emojis, then cast that See Invisibility spell, gift memberships, join yourself at any level, either on Rumble or on YouTube, guys. Jordan Star Wars is here. Totally agree. Hit that like button. Double A is in the house. Steezo for life in the house on the Rumble side. Representing the Rumble side, Melissa Lord, first ever member of the channels in the house. Grizzy, shout out to Grizzy for sending people over here. Hit the like button, guys, and make sure you subscribe. Please, thanks for being here. Black Metal Nazgul is in the house. King Chris is here saying howdy, because guess what, guys? We say howdy here. Dr. Mafia is showing up. Justin, the Star Wars Marvel purist, is in the house on the Rumble side, of course. Over there cheerleading, exactly what we need. We got to make Rumble great for the first time. Gordon McDonald showing up for a live stream. Mike Gossius is in the house, as always. Unlike these outraged peddlers who talk a big game, I just avoid the woke crap on Netflix and watch awesome stuff like Baki. I don't know what that is. No idea. Darth Felix is here. Felix the cat, the wonderful, wonderful cat. Holy Chitful is here. Lots of pre-stream activity. You love to see it. E. Clay Thomason, down since the beginning, is in the house. Steezo's also on the YouTube side. And thanks for being members, guys. Checking the membership rolls. Still strong there. Tell people to join up. It really helps pay for all the stuff that we got to pay for. This stuff doesn't happen for free. OG Star Wars top tier member of the channel and good friend in the house. Yeah, I'll talk about that a little bit. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it because at the end of the day, everyone else has talked about it, and I don't want to just sit here and rinse repeat. But I do think it needs to be addressed. So for those who aren't aware, probably not very many of you, on Nerd Theory this week, Josh went off in this weird rant because Star Wars Theory suggested that Darth Melvin join the panel. And he went off on this rant, and I have it paused here with captions on. I think they should be herded up. Who's he talking about? The people in Melvin's Discord. And based on some of the stuff that he said, he subscribed to a lot of the bullshit, the fake screenshots we've addressed many, many times. But he also said some stuff that could conceivably happen in any Discord server. The thing there is, if you look in his server and his little audience, they're doing the same kind of stuff everyone else is. So he's a hypocrite. He just doesn't like the fact that someone's calling him out on his bullshit and he doesn't have any leverage against them. The best thing he could do is probably ignore it, just completely ignore it. So when he gets triggered like this, it's only going to make it worse. Making up stuff with their 1,500, 2,000 watching, whatever it was that night, right? Trying to make the people in the chat believe something that was not true. He's totally full of crap, and it actually pissed me off. A lot of stuff on here doesn't piss me off, but when you're out there knowingly peddling lies, I do not like you. Just like he said about us, I do not like these. Well, we don't like people. I don't like people who peddle lies. He just looked like an idiot for doing that. Like, he should have just ignored it. Or, let Melvin on and turn it around and make it into a fun thing, right? He could have found a way to make it fun and everyone could have had a good time. But guys like him get triggered. They get full of themselves. They think that their channel and their takes are so important that that they're unassailable, that they're on a pedestal. No one can climb that pedestal and knock them off of it. And it's like, dude, welcome to reality. Welcome to the real world. Like, think about it in a corporate environment. Eventually, you're going to get held accountable. Well, we've got accountability checks here. When you're peddling lies and bullshit rumors, you're no better than the guys on our side that we always talk about, right? You're no better than they are. And he doesn't like that. It's a guy behind a mask. It's someone who doesn't even turn their camera on. And yeah, you want to be on equal footing so you can try to use the threat of doxing or whatever you want to call it against them, because you can't refute the points on an even playing field when it just comes to facts. You want to use that implicit threat that, hey, you better be careful, you better back off because this could escalate. And that's what the SJWs did to us a few months ago. Same exact thing. And then they spent a good portion of the stream trying to bury the EU and hell, even George Lucas era Star Wars. And I think both Justin and Alora spent a lot of time breaking that down on their streams this week. Like, are you a fan of it or not? Like, that's the definition of a tourist, right? I just like the things on the screen and I have a superficial knowledge of it, and so does my audience. That's the definition of a fake fan and a tourist. And it's great. Hey, come on in, normies, like Star Wars, no problem. But if you're gonna be here, if you're gonna be a fan, then you need to respect the real fans, the hardcore fans, respect the lore, respect the real world history of that franchise. And these guys were not doing that. And there's a lot of edgelords out there like that, like Eckhart Slatter and whoever else. Just douchebags that think they're better than everyone else because they dunk on the thing that they claim to like. They're the real neckbeards. Not us. We're the ones who kept the franchise alive in between big movies and stuff like that. So this guy, hurt him up. Okay, who's going to do it? Are you going to call the cops? Oh, yeah, he did. He said he wants the FBI involved. For what? Maybe you should be investigated for incitement. Maybe you should be sued civilly for slander in front of a large audience. Okay, maybe he wasn't talking about get the government to hurt us up. Maybe he's talking about himself. Well, bring it on. Come try it. Come try to herd me up. He's a piece of shit. And it isn't going to stop. We're not going to stop telling the truth and exposing people who lie and hide the truth knowingly. And that's exactly what he did on this stream. And I just respect Star Wars theory less and less. I mean, his intelligence, never respected it because he's not a smart guy. But I mean just his values. He's not a stand-up guy for allowing this kind of crap to go on while he sits there looking like he's high as a kite. Look at him. So fuck Josh. Lots and lots more to come on that, I'm sure. Yeah, the IRS should get involved for his fake comic books. The IRS should be abolished. How about that? Soul Assassin's in the house. Sue him for that hairstyle. It's just like brown hair. I think that his hairstyle is the least of our worries. King Chris says Melvin and the rest of us actually stand for something and don't budge. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like a lot of channels, I don't care if it's the SJW channels or our side, like a lot of them don't stand for anything. And they've done 180s, and then they've done another 180 to where it's a 360 over the years. But the people that I surround myself with tend to be pretty consistent. Butcher of Blaviken is in the house. Josh hasn't liked him from day one. Yeah, it's because, again, you expose these guys and they don't like being criticized. They think they're above it. Well, your criticism doesn't count because you're behind a camera or a mask. Okay, it doesn't make the criticism any less valid. You just can't use that as leverage against the person. That's all it is. Soul Assassin in the house. Missed you the last couple of weeks. Do me a favor, Soul Assassin. Grab the link to my latest lore video that came out Tuesday. Doing relatively better than the first three after I got back into the video business. But we really want to feed that algorithm. Also been uploading on Rumble, old videos. Some of them not too old, a couple of months. And they're surprisingly getting pretty decent views and stuff. So we got to feed that algorithm as well, because eventually YouTube, I think it's only going to get worse. Hasn't really gotten better. It's gotten worse. So we got to get way ahead of that. Justin's doing really well over there. We're on Rumble right now live, just to reiterate that. So if you have an account, I really would appreciate it if you would have that in another tab and just kind of mute it or whatever. But we want to feed that algorithm. Jealous. Yeah, envy. That's the core tenet of communism. Blue-eyed Scorpios in the house. Commies have no mental skills. They always default to violence. I don't know what Josh is in that regard. He doesn't really seem like a conservative to me, but whatever. He's a piece of shit, and that entire stream was just absolute garbage. 3 hours and 33 minutes of it. Horrible. So like I said, we're not going to go super long tonight because pretty long week with work. We're starting late. Need to wake up at a decent time and get started early because I like to finish work early on Fridays from all the overtime, like I get paid overtime. All the long hours I work during the week, I like to finish up pretty early on Friday afternoon. John Gets Gaming is in the house. What's up? And by the way, guys, also a couple of new commercials on the Gatekeepers Alliance channel. So I would play those here as clips, but I don't want one of them to get claimed. The Addams Family music, I don't think it's gotten claimed on the Gatekeepers Alliance channel, but I haven't logged in a couple of days. So a couple of new commercials. One of them is modified from a previous commercial from months back, and it has the two Jokers I had on the screen earlier, Josh and Star Wars Theory. I'll go ahead and tell you what that one is. It's Star Triggers, right? We have more and more people, their fans, asking for blasters. They're stealing our idea for Star Triggers. Get ready for Star Triggers. Yeah, Shirtgate. Shirt speed. YouTube removes comment. Is that right? Really? I can tell you this, it's not banned from the channel because you guys know you can ban words on your own channel in the gear settings. Ooh, right.
We don't serve their kind here.
And we have with us the Grand High Priest, Holy Order of Hate, Greg.
Good evening.
That's a Greg Orion chant.
Ha ha.
I don't think I've ever made that one before, have I?
I don't recall.
So while we wait for Blake, let's get into the one that you want to get into, guys, and probably going to want to use this overlay here. So I don't like all this stuff that X shows. I don't like it. All right, here we go.
What am I looking at?
Oh, that's the overlay. Hang on a minute. It'll all make sense. There we go. So, can you see it? Does it look fine?
It's really small on my screen, but I know what you're referring to by the picture.
Well, here, let me get rid of this comment there. There you go. You should be able to see the entire like message portion of X on there. And then we're over there on the right. So explain this to us. Candace Owens, right? Put out this video. What did she say in the video? And then what is our friend Nina Infinity saying here about this?
This is the one where she's implying that Charlie Kirk came to her in a dream to express his detraction from his previous pro-Israeli stance. And
holy shit, are you kidding me?
No.
So let me get this straight, because quite frankly, I haven't had time to read a lot of these messages in detail on X and Discord and wherever. You're telling me that she, in this video, is saying that the deceased, rest his soul, Charlie Kirk came to her in a dream and disavowed a pro-Israeli stance in a dream to her. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Wow. And I've said this before in some of the private chats. I've said it in some Discord threads and stuff like that, that no one in this world is more unhinged than the anti-Zionist, using air quotes, people out there. Like they will do anything they can to blame stuff on Israel. And hey, I'm the type where if someone's to blame for something, they're to blame for it. That's the way it goes. But they will concoct evidence. It always goes back to that. It's circular logic. It's just insane. So for this is like the height of it right here. This reminds me of something from a movie or a sitcom or a comedy sketch. I can't put my finger on what it is, where, oh no, they came to me in a dream and said this. And wasn't she pretty unhinged about this stuff a couple of months ago?
She's been kind of unhinged and out there in all of her wild speculation regarding Kirk's assassination, pretty much since the day it happened. And to understand Candace, like to understand what's going on, you have to kind of understand this is kind of Candace's MO. She jumps on bandwagons and won't get off. And everything then just becomes this deeper and deeper rabbit hole of weird, batshit crazy justifications or insinuations and guilt by associations that she comes together. I mean, she's the personification, or she's that nut job with like all the scrapbook photos and strings tied together, in her weirdo room. But all the strings for her lead to Jerusalem.
Yep. Yeah, I always call it the weird uncle syndrome. You always have that weird anti-Semitic uncle where, again, everything goes back to the big I, or the big J, whichever you want to call it.
Yeah, so it was weird. And she got called out and rightly mocked for kind of having this like, wait, so now you're saying, trust me, bro, Kirk told me in a dream?
That's just
Well, yes,
insane, man.
double A, you're absolutely correct. She is doing this for attention.
But here's
And
the thing. She, of obvious, one of these conservative online grifter type accounts. Okay, great. But what about Nina? Like, I think, and before we get into that, let's tell the chat about our history with Nina. Like, what was it? 5 years ago, 4 years ago, we were streaming with her on a semi-regular basis, right? Um, I think she would come play trivia, right?
Mhm.
On Jeff's channel. I don't think I ever invited her on my channel, to be quite frank. But his channel, she might have popped on. Trying to think of who else we would have streamed with. I don't know, maybe
we probably
Tom.
streamed with her when we would interact with John Talks.
Yeah, with John. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we know her pretty well, but back then I don't think a lot of these views were being espoused, but I'd say over the last 3 years, she's definitely come out as an quote unquote again anti-Zionist type, right?
Mhm.
And again, where everything, like your entire thought process, your logic, it all leads back to, hey, we got to blame the Jews. Like that's just where your mind leads you to. That's where your your thought process, your equation, it always goes back to them, like no matter what. Like, oh man, we can't prove that they did it because they're so good at covering it up. Stuff like that. Well, okay, if they're so good at covering it up, then are they really that bad? It seems like they're better than you are if they can hide it that well. So read this to us because I want to understand what she's saying here because you're the one that found this and shared it. So tell us what Nina's saying here about what Candace is saying and if she's really buying into it versus just grifting off of it like Candace is.
So I think this is just a they share common cause, therefore they're one's defending the other. But the text of this, the quote tweet that Nina is giving here is: a spiritual war is raging, yet many dismiss talk of dreams, spirits, or divine experiences as crazy. If you're an atheist mocking real Candace Owens for sharing a spiritual dream about a deceased friend who, in Christian belief, is with God, I understand your skepticism. But if you're a Christian calling her experience absurd, consider this. How is her dream any less believable than a man walking on water or rising from the dead? If you accept one, why reject the other?
So I got a lot to say on that, and I do, but number one, how many years did you go to Catholic school?
8.
So you probably learned a lot then. I went to church from the time I was 0 until I was 18, and then I went to Christian school for a good portion of my life. So
Mm-hmm.
learned a lot about the Bible in that time, and it wasn't just like, hey, okay, you're in Sunday school, here's the lesson. Like some of the stuff in school, like we went deep into it, like the theologic, esoteric type conversations about this stuff, and we went into the concordance and what does this passage really mean? Kind of like these quotes people will take out of context from founding fathers. And well, they weren't even talking about that. Same thing here. People have a Bible verse, but you read it and it doesn't even apply to that situation. So we went deep, especially in school, like high school and stuff. So can you tell me, I already know my answer, but why does that last paragraph not make sense?
Um, it has, to be honest, like for me, it has almost nothing to do with spirituality. It's a logical fallacy. It's almost like the man on the moon fallacy, right? Because we accomplished one hard thing, all things must be possible, even if they're unrelated. And the problem that you fall into this is like, if you believe that Jesus Christ walked on water and that you think is far-fetched or out there, or people appeared to people, biblical characters in dreams, God appeared to Mary in a dream, or whatever story or passage from the Bible, that you must then believe anybody else who claims anything in a dream, or you're somehow being ideologically hypocritical. And like, I'm sorry, I don't put an internet personality seeking attention on the same plane as a historical biblical character as far as believability goes. And that's where I really have the problem. And, you know, my quote tweet was like, if one were to follow the line of reasoning, then it would be incorrect for any Christian to ever be skeptical of anything or anything, anyone or anything, right? Christians should believe Jussie Smollett's story because really, is it really as far-fetched as walking on water? I mean, if you believe Christ walked on water, why wouldn't you believe that somebody assaulted Jussie and said this is mega country?
Yeah.
Right. And so you can take that kind of logic to anything that anybody claims. And then my final paragraph in my quote was, I can't wait to see what this does to the YouTuber grift community. We can dispense with the fake sources and go directly to dreams, right? And, you know, the late Carrie Fisher came to me in a dream and said that Star Wars is going to get retconned. And if you don't believe me, then, and you're a Christian, then you must be hypocritical, because, I mean, if you believe that Christ walked on water, turned water into wine and all this other stuff, then why wouldn't you believe me?
Or what about this? What if George Lucas came to me in a dream and said that, and he's still alive? But what if it was future dead George Lucas? See what I'm saying?
Because,
yeah,
you know, in heaven doesn't really have, you know, how do we know how time works in heaven?
So something else here, that last paragraph, to my knowledge, and again, studied a lot of this, I think the only people to ever come back to Earth from the dead, I think it was Elijah and Moses. I think they came down with the angels, right? But I'm not aware of anyone else other than Christ, like coming back to Earth from the dead, from the physical death. So is she saying that, hey, Charlie did that and he chose her of all people, right?
Right.
So miracle, yeah. To go back
not,
to what Eclay said about a miracle. Lazarus, yeah. That's a good point.
He didn't go to his wife. He didn't go to other people on the board of Turning Points USA. He didn't appear to President Trump or Elon Musk or any credible person. He appeared to give this message to the person that would be least likely to be taken seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is that, like, if you don't, like, you should be skeptical. Like, any sane person would be skeptical that, like, Charlie Kirk consciously chose in the afterlife to appear in a dream to Candace Owens. Now, Candace could be describing a dream, but the way she's describing it is like as it's evidence of the claim.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Not that, like, oh, she had a weird dream and it had, you know, Charlie Kirk was saying that he was an assassinated, or it was something more nefarious than what it was. Because I have a gut feeling, and then that gut feeling was reflected in my dream. But no, she's presenting the dream as if it's evidence of something. Because otherwise, why talk about it on your podcast?
Yep.
So I mean, like, I accept that Candace is crazy, and I don't believe a word she says, because I think she's self-serving. And I think she has a history of being very self-serving. So based on my assessment of her character, I don't find her trustworthy. But the idea that like we should find her trustworthy, or that I'm somehow being hypocritical if I'm a Christian by just not taking her word for it, I mean, that's just logically absurd.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was about to ask the same question. Like, of all the people to go to,
Yeah, I said before, why not his wife?
yeah.
Why not Trump?
Oh, I know why. Because his wife is an anti-Israeli. Oh
That's
man.
right. It's like, yeah, he's gonna. His wife was in on it.
So again, you've got the fallacy of what Nina's saying here, and to your point earlier, why not disbelieve anything? Why disbelieve anything when it could be true, right? But again,
Mm.
her bias here, she's going to confirm her bias by saying, "Yeah, I believe it because it means Jews bad, so I'm going to believe it." So
Yeah. And like I said,
that's all it
it's
is.
similar to the man on the moon argument that, hey, we should be able to travel faster than light because we put a man on the moon.
And apparently, this is kind of unrelated, but somewhat related. Apparently, EVS forgot her name when he was like discussing something. But I'm that way. I can't remember names. Like, I'll know who the person is, whether it's, in real life or like an online personality, an actor, whatever. But I can't remember names. I'm really bad about that. But I guess he did that in the last couple of days, which is pretty hilarious. Leaf Larson's in the house. Thanks for being here. Long time member of the channel. Still supporting. I had a dream where Natalie Portman and I rolled on the grass. Yeah, that would be awesome.
I mean, that's a good dream.
Yeah. Don't trust Catholics. Yeah, out there on X, I see a lot of these weird posts about that stuff, where these people who are professed conservatives see the Pope and these bishops doing all this stuff, and that church has been compromised, and it's like they just march in lockstep with whatever His Holiness does, and I use air quotes on that.
I just think healthy skepticism is a good thing, and but it should be applied rationally and equally.
Yes. Yep.
Like, do I think that does Israel act in Israel's best interest? Of course they do. They ought to. Just like the United States should always act in its own interest. I would expect that they would do that thing. Do I expect that Israel has spies in the United States? Yeah, sure. Absolutely, I do.
Yeah, and we don't want to go off on too much of a tangent, but in the next, I don't know, 4 to 6 weeks, we're going to have a stream on that. And quite frankly, I'd like to get some opposing views on here so we can tear them up. That would be freaking awesome. But that's coming soon sometime in
and related
the next
thing,
couple
John
of months.
Cusack almost made my space list this week for a tweet.
Nice, nice. So our other panel member has not shown up yet. We can move on to the next one if you want. So this was sent to us, guys. Again, we're not out there stalking people's accounts. Like, our audience sends this stuff to us because they know that we cover this kind of stuff from time to time. But again, we've had run-ins with this lady before that has about 19 different flags in her name on X, La Reina Creole, who has me blocked, by the way, for some, I don't even remember what exactly it was, but the gist of it is that
you can't tell me what to do.
Basically, yeah. And that's what this whole thing's about. So, Kentucky Girl. And one thing I've noticed Again, ostensibly, she's another one of these black conservatives, right? But she tends to play the race card quite a lot. Anytime she's quote tweeting someone, it's always an account like this, Kentucky girl, and she'll try to address race all the time. And it's like, just shut up. And so this account here, this Kentucky girl, 62,000 followers on X, says there is a culture war and we have to win it for our children. But if we don't fight it, they will win. Cancel all this shit, right? And you got cuties here. You got that, whatever the hell, the end of the street show, whatever that's called. The kissing girls from that other one that came up last week as well. You have all this shit. And of course she finds it, right? And it's sad that it gets as many likes as it does. Oh damn, Brandon got her. Boycotts and cancellations are nothing more than empty virtue signaling. Focus on the creation and support of alternatives. So let's break this down here. Boycotts and cancellations are nothing more than, now she's kind of right, because think about 2021. We talked about this 2 weeks ago. Think about the Gina Carano thing, hashtag cancel Disney Plus. But no, I'm back on there reviewing WandaVision a couple of weeks later, right? So she's kind of right.
So
she's kind of right
in the sense that in our community, unfortunately, fake boycotts are ineffective because they're fake. So if it's hashtag activism without any actual action, meaning you're actually not avoiding the product or ceasing to consume the product, then of course it doesn't work.
Right.
Like, I mean, I don't know why that has to be said, but like apparently it does. Like, yes, if you fake boycott something, it doesn't have an effect.
Yep. So the point is, if you virtue signal but you don't actually boycott, that's the problem.
Correct.
But I think what she's saying there is boycotting it all is not effective because not enough people do it. So you may as well join them. If you can't beat them, join them. That's I think that's what she's saying in that first phrase there. I don't want to speak for a strong black woman though.
I guess then how, like, you're going to fight it by making alternatives. Well, okay. What's the alternatives? Where are they at?
ISOM number 1.
Right.
Good. It's eventually going to get made into a TV show.
Meanwhile, actual people under 40 years old and have a future with pussy in it, don't even know what the fuck it is. Like, ISOM's core audience is 40 plus. So who's winning the culture war with by selling comic books to middle-aged men with no children?
I can tell you who's winning the culture war.
Left.
This guy. From Sydney, Australia, weighing in at 202 pounds, here is Liquid Blake.
Greetings, people of Earth.
Tell us about your dreams.
Yeah, what did Charlie tell you in your dream?
I was gonna say I'm sorry I'm late. I was busy scrying. I was scrying for Disney rumors. I was trying to access the ether.
Mm.
Anyway, you've seen this out there. I think. Are you the one who sent this, or someone sent this to us?
No, I have no access to Larry.
So what do you think about this? So we're on the first phrase. Boycotts and cancellations are nothing more than empty virtue signaling. Eye roll emoji.
Oh well, where was that energy for the cancelled Disney Plus movement on the back of Gina Carano or whatever other idiots they were trying to prop up at the time? But this one, it's just what does she have does she like the Mako Mermaid show on there? Is that why she's upset? People are going to boycott Netflix and she'll have no reason to watch it anymore.
I just have a logical question. So if none of this matters and it's just empty threats and virtue signaling, then what do YouTube channels and videos do?
Yeah.
Like your entire fan base and all the people you collaborate with, what's their end game? Why should we care about how much a movie made at the box office if it doesn't matter? And it's just virtue signaling.
Well, I think you know the answer to that.
Oh, of course it does. Like, the reason the right has failed at boycotts is because we're naturally kind of not inclined to participate in them. We're too busy. As a broad social group, the people on the right are more concerned with their own personal lives and getting through their day and taking care of their family. They're not looking up a brand to see what their social stance is. It's just not in our DNA. It's not in our personas to care. But like, I've never gone to a store and I'm like, oh, I'm shopping for bars of soap. I wonder what Procter and Gamble's stance on gay pride is.
Well, but then the same motherfuckers want to sit there and bitch about Bad Bunny at NFL. And speaking of NFL, like Colin Kaepernick and all that, then do something about it. Quit bitching about it and stop watching it. Bitching about it ain't going to do anything. They keep on doing it.
Come up with your own league? Is that what your plan is? Because
yeah, that's never worked. I mean, USFL, they're back now. Arena, the AAF a couple of years ago, XFL twice. XFL. I mean, come on.
I really thought that the second go around of XFL had a chance because I like some of their rule changes.
Well, hey, AAF, that American whatever it was of football, 3-4 years ago, the rules were a little bit different. It sped the play up. It wasn't too bad, but they couldn't even finish the season.
Yeah, it was a better product, I thought. They just didn't have the talent and the prestige, and they don't have the money that the networks are throwing at the NFL. And then the cities are throwing at the teams in order to build them palaces.
Right.
So with this, the big difference, but is what I find with a lot of these people is they are the people yelling at the product on the field, but they're doing it from the standstill. Like, they will not leave the stadium. They will not keep. Right. They will not stop paying their money to go in and buy that ticket.
Just yelling at clouds, basically. Like, you're that meme.
Because they're not even yelling at clouds. Because you could just do that out in public. They're still they're yelling at clouds from inside privately owned property that they have to consistently yell at.
Yeah. Let's catch this really quick.
As you're eating Ben & Jerry's ice cream, you're bitching about the politics of Ben & Jerry.
Fuck those guys at Ben & Jerry's. Fuck those guys. Let's catch this really quick. On the Rumble side again, guys, let's make Rumble great for the first time. $20 from the returning Gabriel Knight. Enjoy this empty virtue signal. Yeah, we got to come up with some kind of clip for empty virtue signaling. And don't forget, when someone tried to hold these guys accountable, like, hey, put your money where your mouth is and cancel, We got the same attitude.
There's my money where my mouth is. If you don't like it, bounce.
There's just the anger behind that. Like, you don't tell me what to do. Oh, I can't believe you're calling out my hypocrisy and my fallacious thinking. No, fuck you. Like, I'm sick of hearing you're bitching about stuff when you won't do anything about it. Not going to put up with it.
What is the point about complaining about Bad Bunny if you're going to watch the thing anyway? Like, you're literally telling the NFL nothing that they do will stop you from consuming their products. And then you're surprised when they do whatever the fuck they feel like.
Yeah.
I guess, like, the only thing you're willing to do is make complaints, write stern letters. Good luck.
Yep.
We're not just doing this for money. We're doing it for a shitload of money.
Yeah.
You get nothing. You lose.
Yes, thanks for calling and not reversing the charges. Yes, bye. Shithead.
That's been me at work all week when I hang up the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for the $20 Gabriel Knight super member on the Rumble side. Appreciate that. Well, you were saying, Greg?
I was just saying, like, every one of these people that are doing this online, like, the comment or the response should be, or what?
Mm-hmm.
Or what?
Oh,
what's your plan?
What?
Yeah, what's your threat?
Yep.
You don't like what the NFL is doing?
Well,
what are you going to do about it?
Let's look at the second.
Okay.
Let's look at the second part of this. Focus on the creation and support of alternatives. So let me get this straight. You hate Disney, but you're going to keep going to Disney World. But at the same time, you're going to support an alternative to Disney. Is that? But no, wait, you're not going to support it. You're going to focus on it. Focus on supporting it, but you're not going to boycott it.
You're going to give lip service to the concept of it, but you're really
right.
Not going to
That's the virtue signal. That's the virtue signal, guys.
It's
paying the lip
those
service.
Same people that shop every single fucking Black Friday sale and then but then say that they're going to like the small business Saturday deals, but don't.
Right.
They're standing in the freezing cold at 1 o'clock in the morning on Friday, waiting for those chain store doorbuster deals while they're complaining about chain stores.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then saying that, people should buy local and go local and support their local businesses, but then never go to a local business.
Yeah.
The world is full of these people. I mean, and typically they have a very, you can reliably assess which side of the aisle they're going to vote for.
Yep.
Based on that mentality, because they're just, I mean, again, that's not a mindset that's really typically in line with conservative or libertarian type of thinking.
And then her last sentence. Too long didn't read. You don't get to tell me what to do. No, but we get to call you out on your fallacies and your hypocrisy. And that's what we're doing right now.
Wrong. I absolutely 1000% get to tell you what to do. Go take a flying fuck at a rolling donut, you fucking cunt. You can't stop me from telling you to do anything. I can't make you do it. But I can say anything I fucking want.
In Z formation. Hell no.
Who you calling a bitch?
Donut as a whole. If it's rolling, it's harder to fuck.
No,
I've
but
heard that expression. But like literally, yeah, I can tell you anything I want.
And no, this, you know what this is? I call it the basement brat effect. Because that's what these, no, I want what I want, and you're not going to take it away from me. And they all do it. Every last one of them does it. Doomcock does it. WDW Con does it. Everyone in that sphere. They are just nothing but they're brats that want what they want. And you try to tell them, hey, you see what you're doing here is you're support. No, I want it. It's good Mando. It's good Disney World rides and food that I stuff my face with at the parks, but it's too expensive. But I buy it anyway because I'm hungry. I mean, oh, I don't understand like this type of content. Like, who buys into this? Let's look at some of the replies and find out. And again, Spacer Brandon the Austin, shut it and sit down, woman. Silver Haze, for real, they don't work. What does work is making your own shit. So who's going to make a Disney World, right? Some
Or
like
an NFL.
redneck carnival. I mean,
Who's going to make a Super Bowl?
Yeah,
and invite, I don't know, that yodeling twat fucker who's complaining about Richmond and Virginia.
Yeah. To beat Hollywood, you have to counter them, not censor them. That's not censoring. It's putting them out of business for continually pumping out content and doing stuff that we don't like having trans cheerleaders and kneeling during the national anthem when they should be standing in respect of our great nation and stuff like that. That's not censoring.
We need to do another show in the future. Obviously, we won't have time tonight, but like we need to re-explain the difference between cancel culture and voting with your wallet.
We do it every 3 months, it seems like.
Because I like it just keeps popping up and popping up and popping up. But like there is a difference. Like cancel culture is like you're not allowed to seek your own audience and people who will seek you out and find you. We're going to run you out and make it impossible for you to do business in the first place.
Yep.
That's not like, well, you do your thing, I just won't support it, which, you know, is a logical thing that everybody should do. Be like, well, if you don't like it, don't buy it, right? If you don't like it, don't watch it.
You don't get to tell me what to do. Haiku, there are many people who should have known better and not been giving Netflix money this whole time, but they have no self-control. You are correct that better alternatives are essential. More than anything else will kill, or AI more than anything else will kill their services like Netflix in due time. No, because people will keep watching the AI and complaining about it. I mean, what's the difference? I love how
they'll be able to make it cheaper than what they're making the content for now. It's going to save them a shit ton of money.
Yep.
They're not going to, like, you don't have to pay royalties to an algorithm.
I love how they have a pic of Cuties there to protest Netflix when Cuties has been removed from the platform for well over a year now. The other stuff they're mad about are cartoons that got canceled a long time ago. These people are idiots. That sounds like a leftist right there in the replies to me.
Well, that
was
sounds
something
like
similar
one of
to
Larry's typical followers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was a line of thinking that like somebody like your boy Zach kind of had to be like, they're digging up these old cartoons and making a big deal of it. Oh, it's like, I think it is worth going through and discovering some of this stuff because I think that people already have forgotten. They've gotten the right has gotten a little bit complacent when it comes to some of this stuff, and they have to stay diligent. They have to stay aware, or this shit's gonna creep back. Because whatever ground we've gained in the so-called culture war, will easily be erased and then some as soon as the pendulum swings just a tiny bit the other way. They'll go
One
100%
election.
back because none of the people who made that stuff 3 years ago are out of the business or gone. They're just biding their time.
Yeah.
And they will 1,000% go right back to it the second they feel safe. Look at the NFL. Right? They were in a little bit of shit with the kneeling and stuff, right? The Kaepernick stuff, and there were a lot of people that were pissed off at the NFL and walked away. They got the audience back, and it's like, oh, here comes the tranny cheerleaders, here comes Bad Bunny, here comes all the shit, all back, full bore.
Yep.
The second that they felt that they were in a comfortable spot to do it, they went right back to default. So there is some value in going back and looking at some of this stuff, because I think a lot of parents probably let their kids watch. The big lesson, I think, that would be great if everybody could learn, even if it's not to boycott Netflix, it's to not let your kids, don't assume the shit that's on a platform is suitable for your kids, because it's not. Even if it says it's for kids, just because it lacks swear words or nudity doesn't mean it's appropriate for kids.
Yep.
And like, I would love to see, like, if you want to talk about real change and affecting real change, let's lobby. Or, they have the letter codes and stuff for TV and movies, right? Well, let's put an F in there for faggoty.
Yeah.
This show
They've
has
already got
faggoty content.
They've already got those LGBTQ tags on most things on the streaming services.
Yeah, but they tag those in those shows as an advertisement. They hide it for the kids stuff.
Yeah.
And some of the conservative outrage over these shows is way overblown and designed to generate attention for themselves. Absolutely 100% true. But it does have some value. I just think, like, if you're still subscribing to Netflix at this point, I feel that there's nothing that they can do.
Joke's on you.
Well, there's nothing at this point. There's nothing that they can do that will get you to unsubscribe. So why wouldn't they do whatever the hell they want?
Yeah, but to say, like, people are just going back and highlighting specific things, like, you could also see it as there's enough evidence at this point that you can compile a list of things that you can look at and say these are not just egregious, but they're skirting the line of, if they were to be aired on actual television, they would never make it. Like, they would never make it through the first line of censors.
Yeah, and these companies, they're not doing it like, these aren't accidental, like, innuendos that could be taken different way. I mean, they're putting this stuff in there boldly and intentionally to get praise from organizations like GLAAD.
To me, the most blatant one was that Babysitters Club clip, where it's about the young black girl who goes out and funnily enough, castrates the doctor for misgendering the kid in the bed. To me, that was
I've seen that clip. Yeah,
that was like the perfect highlight to me. That was like showed to a T of what the they talk about mansplaining, but that was like left-splaining or queer-splaining what
transplaining
transplaining what actually is just a pretty simple scientific or medical analysis.
Mm-hmm. But again, like, if at this point, if you're still subscribed to Netflix, and especially if you're in this circle, like, there really is nothing that's going to stop you. So,
yeah, I mean, the only thing that will stop them is Mako Mermaids. If they take Mako Mermaids off there, then all these people will. this boycott will be a drop in the water. Like Netflix will lose $30 to $40 billion in a week if Mako Mermaids disappears off the airwaves.
Yeah. Trace XL says, I would argue both are important. Don't support the trash, but work to offer and support a better alternative. Yeah, he realizes they can't be. You really can't do both because you're still giving money to whoever it is, Disney, NFL. Then you're still propping them up, and you're not going to have an effect because anything that you prop up, the alternative, it needs all the support it can get to be successful because so many of them fail. I stopped using Netflix because $20 a month. Is that how much it costs? Really? No thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, well, at least they did it for that. It meant a lot for Bud Light. I'm sure Gillette also feels it. I haven't used Gillette in years. I buy these Bic ones, and they work pretty good, and they're cheaper too. Boycotting works, and if you are not boycotting Netflix for their content, you should for their price increase. I'm not going to go with that. Like, they charge something for a reason, and they think they can get it. I don't work for that company, and I can't tell you what goes into the equation, right, that makes them arrive at that price. So I really can't comment. There's
They
no such
charge
thing
that
as
much.
expensive. Air quotes
They
expensive.
they charge that much because they've given Adam Sandler ridiculous payouts for his movie deals. Same with Will
Yeah.
Smith. There's rumors now that the latest
Gave
season
Michelle
of
Obama money, didn't they?
yeah, like David Letterman, the Obamas, like the Stranger Things, like those seasons keep getting more expensive. Like
I'm honestly surprised
can't
Stranger
control
Things
their
hasn't
own.
gotten canceled because typically Netflix has, like, I think one of their most egregious things that they do is, like, when they have a show that's successful but costs a bunch of money, they just cancel it because they know the subscribers will still stick with them anyway. So there's no incentive for them to keep putting money into a show with no return on their investment because they don't have the advertiser model. So it's not linked to views. It's all linked to subscribers. It's the problem with the subscriber service in general is there's no accountability, no meritocracy. And Netflix is a wonderful example of what happens when you don't have a meritocracy. Good shit
totally
gets
agree.
cannibalized in favor of a bunch of garbage.
Yep.
I was tempted, King Chris, to see Happy Gilmore too because I was such a huge fan of the first one. I could quote that fucking movie all day long. And I just couldn't do it because I just knew that it wasn't going to be good.
Oh,
Like,
if
it
you
have a
last
couple
5
good jokes
minutes-
in there, maybe, and that's about it.
If you last past the first 5 minutes, where the movie takes its
Oh yeah, you told me about that, and that pissed me off. And I'm like, oh nope, I'm out. I'll tell you, like,
fuck that.
I was a Sandler fan. I loved his movies back in the day. I mean, like, Wedding Singer. Well, I'm an '80s guy, so that soundtrack had me hooked alone. But I loved that movie. I wasn't a big fan of Billy Madison. I loved Happy Gilmore. Waterboy was okay. Little Nicky was okay.
That's when it started to really go downhill. Little Nicky was sort of the turning point where it was half of the movie.
But I
had
liked
some
Blended.
elements that were good,
I mean,
but it
which was another one with
yeah.
Drew Barrymore, and I thought Blended was more his old style, kind of a rom-com with an Adam Sandler twist. I think is probably his, like, butter zone.
Oh yeah, like 51st. Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah,
like
51st Dates, something like that.
Those more like weirder comedies, and he transitioned into the romantic comedies like the 51st Dates. Even Wedding Singer was a bit more along those lines.
Yeah, sure.
What was the other one you mentioned? Blended, but then there was another one as well, in between. Spanglish, which was really like a departure from his usual stuff.
Yeah, and then he had that one that Click was weird. But it had, I mean, it had him farting in David Hasselhoff's face. So, I mean, it had some good points.
That one just it got really like sappy.
Yeah, it was basically, it was the Scrooge story with a twist.
Yeah, in a
I mean,
way.
it really, I mean, like, none of his movies are complex, but they could still be entertaining. I liked it's the one where he has the little boy that he adopts. Big Daddy. I like that one.
Yeah, Big Daddy.
That was entertaining.
Yeah, he had a run where he found
Anonymous?
his niche, but it was just that played out, and now he's just trying to bring them back for almost half nostalgia's sake and half.
This is
going back to the well.
This is the Rolling Stones 90th farewell tour for Adam Sandler movies. Yeah. I mean, that's basically what he's doing. Good for him. He's going to cash in. And again, I'm not going to subscribe to Netflix to get it. And
yeah, that's the
I'm
thing.
just
Like
not
Adam Sandler's going to cash
in,
but it's all just getting passed on to the subscriber, which is why a lot of these streaming services, Netflix in particular, has skyrocketed since it started.
So $2 from Gabriel Knight, but what about if you have Netflix for your kids? No, it's Disney Plus, right? Because that's where Mako Mermaids is, not on Netflix.
There's my money where my mouth is. If you don't like it, bounce.
What a bitch. Thanks for the super chat on that, on the Rumble side. Let's get through these replies, guys. You can do both boycott and support alternatives. Not really. Netflix is crap anyways. Boycott isn't nothing. It's a dent, and many dents is a loss. Got her there. I would say both are important. You need to do the first and then make sure to replace them with the second. But again, this is the virtue signal, saying shit like that, like we said earlier, and not how are you actually going to execute it. Boycotts do work. They've been successful many times when organized properly. And again, this is rationalization of somebody wanting to keep their Netflix and Disney Plus and not having to keep up with hiding it. That's exactly what it is. The absolute refusal to do what must be done if they truly believe in what they claim to believe and what they bitch about all the time.
What's the most frustrating thing about it for me is, like, there's certain things you can't really boycott, right? Like, you can't boycott your power company, right? You can't boycott your water utility. There's a lot of things that most people aren't financially stable enough to boycott. Like, oh, damn Walmart, damn Amazon. I want to shop local, but they don't have the money to do it, right? They don't, or they're not willing to make the certain kind of sacrifice. But like, this is a fucking streaming service, a TV show. This is not stuff that's even remotely necessary.
Right.
You could never watch Netflix ever again for any reason, or any TV at all for the rest of your life, and be quite fine. Probably better off, actually.
Yeah.
Better off. You'd be more productive, probably happier. If you're not willing to walk away from easy things like this stuff, then what are you going to do with the stuff that's actually hard to boycott? You know, the stuff where you really do have to make an actual sacrifice. You have to see, boycotting something you're not interested in already isn't really much of a sacrifice. I'd be like, well, I'm boycotting opera. Okay, that does nothing because I wasn't buying or going to any opera shows anyway. That's cool. I can continue to not go see operas. I didn't really accomplish anything. I didn't dent them at all because I wasn't a customer at all. in order to make a sacrifice. But see, these people don't actually want to have to work and do anything. They want their culture warped without having to fight. Everybody else, see, they just need to point at the problem and then everybody else should fight it. So these people, these YouTubers, these online personalities, they're all pointer dogs, but none of them hunt.
That's the virtual signal in itself. Is tweets like this?
Yeah,
that's what I said earlier. Yeah,
but there's never any follow through.
So really, it's just empty complaining about things like Bad Bunny.
Well, I mean, they talk about alternatives in the replies there, but how many of those people consider going to Universal an alternative to Disney World? Like, how, is that really hurting Hollywood? Is that really hurting the companies that are doing these things? It's just swapping one master for the other.
Got to have a donation to replay it from someone, Justin. We that's what we got to do there. But TV, right?
I don't watch TV. It's a cultural wasteland filled with inappropriate metaphors and an unrealistic portrayal of life created by the liberal media elite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Based as hell. So, fuck these people. We're going to keep our eye on them. And thank you very much to our fans who send this stuff to us. Because, again, I'm not out there scouring X and whatever else. I'm looking for, like, interesting stuff, like science fiction pictures and Star Wars stuff and Star Trek. I'm not looking for, what are people doing? But our viewers want us to comment on this stuff, so they send it to us.
Did we become Magnum Blake?
No, yeah, I am Magnum Blake. Tim, be honest. All the research that you're doing is expanded Bootyverse. That's
there's that too.
We've got like 4 years of shows in advance of contestants lined up.
There's that too.
Magnum Liquid Blake. Don't you like it, Greg?
Yeah.
I do like it. Not as much as I found the expanded Bootyverse Sports League this last week, and that's just occupied all my time.
Nice.
You know what I'm talking about.
Was it one of those like lingerie football things, or?
No, it's you know how they have those sports shows or contests where like dudes smack each other in the face.
Oh yeah,
it's
I did
like
see
that,
actually,
but it's chicks in swimming suits smacking each other's asses. Now that's a sport.
Yeah, we need to have a watch party sometime on that, right?
Yeah, I mean we could do like a live play-by-play,
like Focus special.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get into these other topics, guys. Yeah, so we want to change some gears this week. And number one, in a bit here, we're going to talk about the 35th anniversary of the debut of The Undertaker at Survivor Series 1990. So next month, it'll be 35 years. But in the real world, some stuff's been going on, and it's becoming quite pathetic. I have a couple of links pulled up here. So for those who don't know, up until, what was it, Blake, about a year ago, he had a podcast, right, with a guy.
I think it was more recent than that. I think it was like 6 months to 8 months, I think.
Yeah. I can't think of the guy's name. Of Matt, and longtime friend of his. And then, the podcast became pretty popular, and it got taken over, associated with WWE. So apparently, at that point, they're like, we don't know who this other guy is. Do something else. So we brought in his wife, right? Michelle McCool. And as you guys know, she was inducted into the Hall of Fame, WWE Hall of Fame, this year at WrestleMania. But her tag team partner, Layla, was not. And arguably, they were most popular when they were together as a tag team. I don't think very many people liked Michelle McCool as a singles competitor in WWE back in the day. So she got to be there, and Layla was in the crowd. So she got to be up there on stage becoming a Hall of Famer, probably because of her husband, right? So she's on this podcast now, and this guy, I'll tell you what, she must have his balls in a purse somewhere because it's wild. This is just one example of taking over the podcast. So here's what's hilarious. They're reading comments, I guess on YouTube or whatever. Taker, please, this take your wife to work day needs to stop. It's the only chance I get to see him, people. And he says, "Oh my goodness, well you follow me everywhere. I can't help it. Those coattails are long," she quipped. She read a few more comments, including one fan who said her neck was so weird and bony that she looked like a failed attempt at someone restoring a corpse. Damn. And it says Michelle and Undertaker both burst out laughing at that dig. What does that even mean? Undertaker asked. Well, yeah, she does kind of have a scrawny neck, but probably not as much as Sarah. Do you remember Sarah, Blake?
Oh, the target of DDP.
Yeah, exactly. So she took over the podcast, and now it's like no one wants to listen to it because it's just the guy, the Matt guy. They had better chemistry, and it was just a better conversation. So here's another example: this LFG show. It's like not necessarily like a Tough Enough. It's more like a training show, and I think it's on one of the free streaming services. Well, Mickey James was on there. Everyone knows Mickey James, right? What was it, 20 years ago? Her and Trish had that big feud with the weird, like, lesbian vibes to it and all that stuff. She's amazing. Like, so she was going to be on the show as a trainer. And guess what? Undertaker came in and he's on the show too as one of the coaches, trainers, whatever, mentors. He pushed her out, and guess who he brought on? Michelle, his wife. It's wild to me. And don't forget that he's a close confidant to this day of Vince's, right? He was over there with Vince in Saudi. What was that, Blake, about 6 months ago or something like that?
Oh, I don't know.
I think they were trying to make a deal, like maybe make a new promotion or something. I'm not really sure, but he's always with them. So he's a close confidant of Vince. So for years, I think he and Shawn Michaels like had all the pull backstage because and Triple H, obviously, they always got everything they wanted. Not even Stone Cold did. They pushed his ass out, and what was it, 2002? They wanted him to job to Brock Lesnar on a random Raw. And I get it. Stone Cold's like, yeah, I want to put the kid over, but on a random Raw, like, what in the hell's going on here? So Triple H, it's like the triumvirate. Look at what was it, WrestleMania 27, when they're all, hugging each other on the ramp after that Hell in a Cell match, right? They're like the triumvirate of having backstage pull more than
nepotism.
more than any other time in history in the wrestling business.
Yeah, nepotism has always been pretty rampant in WWF or WWE especially. But even since Vince left, it feels like it's gotten more the older, like, especially like people like Undertaker, Shawn, and Triple H. Triple H is in charge now, but Shawn and Undertaker seem to be almost completely directing what's happening.
Well,
to me, I didn't even know the podcast was still going. I thought it was over, or it was like on a seasonal break or something, and it just never came back, because I used to listen to it every now and then, especially like a lot of the clips where they'd break down into, like, 15-minute segments or whatever. I had no idea that the podcast was still going. So to me, it's almost like it just disappeared off the map, and he's doing it now exclusively on some thing connected to the WWE, like whatever the new version of the network is, but it's all.
I think
like from what I've heard about it, it's all those sort of old road stories have gone, and it's more what's day-to-day life like with the Undertaker and Michelle McCool kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like who really cares about
Gives a
that?
shit.
Yeah, Chris knows what I'm talking about. That's why he had to cover up her name on his neck, his ex-wife's name tattooed on his neck.
It's always
But
a good move when you do that. It's like Johnny Depp used to have Winona on there.
Yeah, yeah. But you said something that oh yeah, so business-wise, like I don't think Triple H necessarily has any power. He probably has a say, and they'll consult him, but technically he's the booker. In fact, I don't even think he's in charge of talent. Like he probably has a say in that, but I don't think he hires and fires performers. That's dealt with by talent relations. He's creative. He's the same thing as Dave Filoni is at Disney Lucasfilm. He's the creative guy. He's the booker. And quite frankly, the storylines are horrible now. How many belts do they have? The women have intercontinental and US titles, and there's not even a program going around all these titles at the same time. It's like there's too many for them to keep up with. And quite frankly, you don't know what constraints he has. Like, are they saying you can't do this, you have to do this TKO company, which quite frankly, again, I'm worried they're going to start affecting PBR, because PBR is gaining popularity even before TKO started getting involved more. And I'm afraid they're going to start this corporate bullshit on it. But anyway, there may be constraints that, yeah, it's just a matter of time.
Once
and
the
there's
Saudis get interested in bull riding,
they're taking pictures with these guys now. They had Rusev of all people at a PBR event. That doesn't make a lot of sense. A guy from Bulgaria, but point is, we don't know what he's dealing with. Maybe that's why the storylines suck. I'm not making excuses for Triple H, but you don't know what's going on backstage that makes the storyline suck. We just don't know. And they've been through phases like this before where you just don't even want to watch the crap. But then you've been through great phases like SmackDown, 2004 to 2007, something like that. Just great television, while Raw sucked during that time after the brand split. But point is, like, Undertaker, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, they've always had the pull, and they still do, because look, Shawn's running NXT, Triple H, Chief Creative Officer, Undertaker, just this weird backstage influence to this day. He's still calling a lot of shots, and I think his opinion matters a lot to them. It's pretty scary, actually.
Well, especially when with the Hall of Fame stuff, like a lot of people seem to be jumping the queue. Like, there's a lot of people in the past that they've had to practically beg and plead to even consider getting them in. Like, I think Psycho Sid was one of the ones where was it DDP for a long time was trying to get him in or a lot of people were. And I think DDP last year with Lex, so a lot of people seemingly, maybe on the women's side more than the men's, but a lot of they seemingly just skip the line. I mean, I think there's a talk is it Stephanie McMahon going in as well next year?
Yeah, they announced that. What was it, last week, I think? And again, that Hall of Fame for me, it's something to watch, to hear some stories when they're on stage, but I don't think much of that Hall of Fame at all. Like, the real Hall of Fame is in Iowa. Mm-hmm. Like the one that's there used to be a couple of them, but that's the one where you're voted in legitimately and not just like, oh, this is a corporate random pick for a marketing reason this particular year, right?
Yeah, and that's what it is, really.
You're voted in by your peers, and guys show up there. JBL and a bunch of other like modern day guys were there with the old school guys up in Iowa just a few months ago. I didn't get to go. I almost like just got a ticket. It was like $175 round trip, and I'm like, it's an hour drive from the airport, and I'd only be able to stay one day, but I'll probably go next year because it's pretty fun. But the WWF Hall of Fame, it's a corporate like employee of the month type of thing.
Well, I mean, and
That's all it is.
That's what WWE has become beyond anything else. It's just it drips like back in the day, the corporation, like the stable. It's come true with the entire brand. Everything is you can imagine the amount of wealth it brings in, and the what percentage of that is going to the performers as the wrestlers, and how much of it is just the machine behind the scenes that like the 10 people that the decisions have to go through for choosing a wrestler's name in the legal department, or coming up with clearing theme songs now, or any of those sort of things. You think it's just the corporate side of it is, in a way, kind of like Disney. Like the creative and the soul of the company has left the building, and it is just
yeah.
it's just a machine on its own now.
And I don't know if they fucked with UFC or not, quite
Oh
frankly.
yeah. If the UFC was to me is just each weight division is stagnant, boring. If Alex Pereira didn't win or reclaim the light heavyweight title last week, it would have been, I think, 6 months to a year of just complete and utter boredom coming out of the UFC, because apart from like there's some overseas stars, but in America they don't seem to have any star that has the big cut through like they have in the past. It's just like the WWE. It's almost like the Saudi influence is just too much to ignore.
Yeah, we'll have to do an entire wrestling stream on that stupid WrestleMania thing with Saudi. It's horrible. But King Chris here is talking about the ticket prices. Like, it's insane, not just for WrestleMania and stuff, but like Raw shows and SmackDown. I don't like going to that crap anyway. I'd rather watch on television or whatever from the comfort of my own home. But the ticket prices are insane. And a story came out a couple of months ago where a TKO exec said, "Oh yeah, we weren't like pre-TKO WWE wasn't squeezing ticket prices enough and stuff." And I think Vince like out there on social media said something, and then suddenly it's like the hero we don't deserve, or blah 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 and all that stuff after all the allegations came out. And I guess you could look at it that way, because up until especially 1999 it was, and even after after they went public on the stock market, they were a mom and pop shop, right? So as soon as the TKO thing happened, and TKO is not as bad as some of the other companies like Disney, WB, and all that when it comes to the woke stuff, but they're still like a corporate entity, and they're going to have those features, right? They're going to corporatize a lot of stuff. So, to his credit, he was providing entertainment for decades at, I guess, what you could call an affordable price. I'd say around 2005-06, that's when everything just started getting crazy with WrestleMania ticket prices.
I'd never even seen, like, here we don't even like really get advertising for any like ticket events or anything. When they used to do those global warning tours and stuff, the tickets were pretty pricey in Australian dollars for the one night events and stuff they would do.
Yeah.
But, I never. You've got to have a really good differential like with the live product than what you're offering on TV to make it worthwhile to get out there. Like that's always the kicker. It's even like the going to the cinema and stuff. If you're if your home setup is, you know, nearly on par with what you're experiencing in the cinema, it's very hard to get people out of their homes to go and experience it. But if you're getting the majority of what you're seeing on Raw and SmackDown and stuff in your own living room, then I don't see, but they keep it up. They keep the attendance up for what it seems like, but those events that always seemingly, to me, way overpriced. And you always get those. You see like some horror stories where like people who buy a ticket and it says like partially obscured or whatever, and they're sitting behind like a giant pillar, and you literally can't see anything besides maybe a quarter of the entranceway. So those are the ones where I'm like, that's just fucked.
Yeah.
Where I as much as Vince, maybe for all his faults, like I don't think he was quite ringing out the audience attendance quite like that. Like they would be the times where they'd just black off those sections where there would be the basically no view or a very poor view of what's happening in the ring.
So this price from Mr. T here, that's really not that much. I remember going to a SmackDown taping in 2001. It was right around the time of No Way Out, so like a month before X7. And I think those were only like 120. So if you're saying 2 for 500, they pretty much only doubled, right? Which makes you feel old. 24 years later, almost 25. I thought they'd be a lot more than that. I never look at the prices. I just hear stuff, and then the WrestleMania tickets are just insane. Like, wouldn't want to go anyway. There's just too much.
They'd have those. They'd be like packaged out now, wouldn't they? For you buy like day 1 or day 2, like a 3-day event with a Hall of Fame ceremony and stuff through.
Well,
like they'd be the big corporate packages that they would sell to companies, corporations across America that they'd have boxes and special suites for the executives and everything.
Yeah, and so I think Blake and I, or just I, might have done a stream on the day that they announced this. So Endeavor is the company, right? When they announced that they were intending to acquire WWE to purchase it, they at that point said, we're going to form a new entity called TKO that'll be UFC and WWE. And then they added PBR and all that. So they kind of formed it as a subsidiary of Endeavor. So
yeah, because it went straight from Vince.
Vince. And honestly, like as soon as that was announced, and you can go back and watch that stream and see I'm not full of shit. I knew he would be gone within a year because he didn't have a controlling interest. I think he had 49%. I'm like, well, before he was airtight because he had the controlling stock. So as soon as he got to 49%, doesn't matter what his title was. I think it was executive chairman, which that title didn't even make sense. As soon as he did something that they didn't like, then he's out. And then all those allegations came out, and guess what? He was out. So
he was airtight with Johnny Ace.
Yeah. Mr. T, 5 months of membership. Didn't see that because I have Rumble up over here and it doesn't look colored in the streaming software. He says, honestly, WWE should make a physical Hall of Fame at the Performance Center. Again, like that's fine, but I'm going to Iowa. They have a physical one there. The Danny Hodge Luthez Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the Luthez Press. Austin with the Luthez Press.
Yeah. And it's not just pro wrestling, it's also amateur wrestling as well, that Hall of Fame and stuff. So it's kind of cool. And there's a connection there. People don't realize
Kurt Angle's in there twice.
Yeah, he might be, actually. I think he was there earlier this year, a couple of months ago. I think he was one of the people scheduled to be there. And there were some WWE guys, so they're allowed to go now, which I think that's a little bit different from the Vince era. Like, people are allowed to do different stuff, whereas before they weren't allowed to do it. So, Um, Jack of all casuals this year, and then Vince came back for a year. Yeah, exactly. And you knew that was going to happen eventually. But as soon as he gave up the ability to keep himself there, it was only a matter of time, and he was gone. Anything else on this topic? Like I said, you can watch this interview that the John guy had, or Matt guy had, with Maven. Do you guys remember Maven, the guy who won the male side of Tough Enough back in 2001? He's got a YouTube channel, and it took off like a couple of years ago. And he does interviews and tells stories and stuff like that. It's pretty interesting. But he interviewed the guy, and Matt says something like, "Oh, we said money would never come between us," but you can tell he's a little bit salty about it. And it's like, I'd let it come between us. Like, where, hey, are you my friend or not? Right? You're going to bring your wife on when we're the ones who built it. And I guess they did let the money come between them because he was out and the wife was in. Michelle was in. So you can watch that interview. It's about 30 minutes long, but I think Maven does good work. I think he's a pretty cool guy. And, he had a cup of coffee in the wrestling business, but he was entertaining. And if you guys don't know, he, on his Royal Rumble debut, he drop kicked and eliminated the Undertaker, which was like a pretty big deal. Anything else on this, Blake?
Not that the Undertaker really had any much relevance during the Rumbles.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a big scalp. No, I honestly, when I saw this video and I shared it with people, it shocked me that the 6 Feet Under podcast was still going. I thought it had just stopped cold and it was like on a break, not coming back, or just an extended break. But then I saw him doing the interviews and stuff, and it made the rounds with some other people who talk about like wrestling related stuff. And I was just like, because it started to creep in where I'm like, a lot of these past wrestlers, or the ones that maybe are more influenced by their better halves than they let on. And to me, like, I think Undertaker's been a pretty good servant of the industry of wrestling for a long time, but at a point, I think a lot of these old heads have too much influence for too long. Like, I think Triple H, I think Shawn, I think Undertaker, I think a lot of them just stayed around too long. Undertaker especially, like, his streak never should have ended. Triple H especially, like, if he, I stated, if he didn't have that medical issue where he had that scare, I say he's still wrestling and he's probably still the champion. You don't get that you don't get that Cody Rhodes run or The Rock come back. Triple H is still there as the champion. So to me, it's been that way, even back in a lot of the heyday of wrestling. It was a lot of those people hung on too long, like having the Kevin Nash comebacks against Triple H. It's just like, we get it. Like, you guys are all friends. It's just a big buddies club at the top. Let some other people in on the shine for a while. And, that was half of why the people had problems with WCW and that fell apart. It's because the mid card was never getting any spotlight when they were the people, for the most part, putting on 90% of the show. But the main event was coming out at the end, 40 people in the NWO getting out limousines and stuff. But it was...
Well, you know what happened with this, but Benoit, they gave him the belt after Brett got kicked by Bill Goldberg, right?
Bill
Goldberg? Yeah, Bill Goldberg. After he got the belt at Starrcade, so he had to be out for the concussion. Well, they had Benoit win it, and he said, "Fuck you guys, I'm going to WWE." And that's what he did. It was too late at that point. Then they tried that horrible stuff with Bischoff and Russo together, like one of the worst eras ever with David Arquette.
Yeah, and there's that promo like Eddie Guerrero where he's like, "I'm going to throw the coffee on myself," and he just when he was leaving WCW to go over to WWF, but it's I wrestling to me, it's almost a bit like other things in pop culture. It had a place in a time, but I don't think it ever will get back to the heights of the golden days of wrestling. Much like comic books, you know.
No, and
I don't,
you're right. I mean, almost nothing will. And I made this example on one of our streams, our wrestling specific streams last year. It's that it's kind of like George Lucas and Vince McMahon are similar in that they
Well,
did
there's
their own
definitely
thing, right?
you could have a really a deep parallel, a deep dive into a
Yeah.
parallel between them. Not just the times that they were, you know, on the rise through their industries, but the departure of what happened when they, you know, when they had less power, or their
Yeah,
decline in create, you know, because everyone has a use by date for creativity and stuff. And once Vince became the character Vince McMahon on the TV, it was sort of he had trouble separating the two.
Yeah, yeah, more than likely.
I think
But they,
I think it's done for another reason, and I think it's the same reason why like stardom is kind of done in Hollywood, in that we have too much access now to behind the scenes.
A lot of the people in like the wrestling analytical sphere and like the people in and out of the business and stuff have said, but once kayfabe ended, that was the doomsday for wrestling. Because
It's just there's nothing special
stopped
about
being
seeing
real
them now
for
because
people.
you can watch all the clips on YouTube. There's no
well that live, that whole
there's
live
no desire
experience
to.
with TV was like a moment in time in itself. It's like
Well,
car
and now there's no
chases and
such thing
stuff
as like
popular.
house shows anymore because it all gets publicized one way or another. So you can't even do like house shows with like weird outcomes and things like that. So it just becomes monotonous, and it becomes there's nothing special. There's no magic to it anymore.
dude, you should see the new era. It's so horrible. Like the production values, like the commercial breaks are weird. It feels like the audiences are totally quiet. I'm talking for Raw. I don't have access at all to SmackDown. I've tried to find it certain ways and I can't get it. But that Raw crap it's not like it was even 15 years ago, much less 99. Remember 99? You know, the what's the name of the band, Anthrax or whoever the hell did the theme, and the crowd's just like insane and the fireworks are going off and Jim Ross is like, yeah, we're here in whatever city, and there's all these signs. It's nothing like that anymore. It's so weird. It's like a bunch of millennials and Gen Zers that don't even know how to be a
Well, yeah.
wrestling fan.
And it'll be all, you know, they flash to the crowd and it's all phones out, like holding them up.
Yeah.
Recording it.
Yeah. Stupid.
I think it's, maybe it's just us getting older, and sometimes I think it's just the fact that I'm older now. But like, even going to like a concert, right? Concerts now are, one, ridiculously overpriced, and two, they're overly produced. They're not even fun.
Yeah.
You're going to see a choreographed, like it might as well be synchronized swimming, right?
Right.
Well, there are exceptions. There is always going to be like the bands that have the
sure, yes, of course, there are going to be the exceptions that the bands that put on a great local live show.
Yeah, but you see the clips of like say Taylor Swift or something doing those stadium shows, and it is literally just cut and paste
with like
night.
billion-dollar stage setups, like just an army of people, and it's not just a band that comes out with a lot of energy and just plays to like the days of like filling up a stadium full of just like people just rocking their heads and just rocking out and having a good time, getting drunk.
We talked about
it just doesn't.
A couple of months ago. Ozzy's last performance. Like,
Yeah, it just doesn't happen
you,
anymore.
you
Like
feel like he gave more energy and
in a chair,
more
sitting
to
in
it.
a
Yeah,
chair.
then you see a lot of these pop stars when they're out there, doing their dance routine, that they're really just going through the motions like a zombie, and half the time they're not even singing because they're so out of breath from doing these things that it's just this random track playing over the top.
It's too performative. It's not real. It's all just a very choreographed, over rehearsed event. And it just kind of takes the fun out of it. And I think that people have a sense when it comes to some of these other shows or some of these other industries that it's kind of like that. Or we just have too much access, and there's just like, why should I tune into this when like I can catch their promo on YouTube? Or there's no patience for it. There's no build up to it. There's no long-term excitement to see how it's going to unfold.
Yeah, well, specifically with the WWE and stuff, like how sanitized it became. Like even when fans knew that there was a no blood rule in the WWE, like that takes, then that, okay, well, there's going to be a hardcore match, but 99% of the time they're not going to have any blood in it, because if they do, Vince is going to yell at them backstage, or the broadcast is going to come down heavily on WWE for doing that and getting them outside of their rating bracket.
Dude, they were stopping matches and like putting Vaseline or whatever and restarting them. That was horrible.
Yeah, quite a ways away from the era where they cut themselves with razor blades.
Yeah.
Oh, it's back. It's back. Like last year, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, they had a cage match and it was like brutal. But you got to do that every once in a while. You can't do it like every week or every month even. You got to like, it has to mean something whenever you have like
color up.
Yeah,
I try not to color up every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever, Blackroyd.
So, yeah,
I think they just have to make so many shows and do so much now that it just doesn't become. It just loses its. It's like a sports league that has to play like 160 games. Like each game just loses its oomph when there's that many of them.
I'll say this like over the last decade, because I'll watch and not watch. Over the last decade, I think the best promotion and best run was probably NXT 2017 to 2020. Like the storylines, the in-ring performances. It wasn't just, okay, you can tell these are people that are trying to get some experience to go up to the quote-unquote main brand. It was like its own actual promotion where you're like, this guy's probably never going to go to the main roster, so he's found his niche here, right, as NXT champion. Stuff like that, or tag team guys. And
was it like the Wade Barrett sort of stuff? That era?
No, it was after that. It was after that. It was like Undisputed Era. It's when Rhea Ripley was making a name against that MMA girl from South Dakota. I can't think of her name.
Ronda
She
Rousey?
just got No. She tag teamed with her last year though, before both of them got released. I can't think of her name, but it was good. Like all the storylines, it was the best I'd say of the last decade. And then COVID happened and everything just absolutely went to shit. So it all went to shit. A lot of stars.
Well, that was like
born from that era.
Like,
yeah.
The same with the UFC during that, when they tried to do those live shows with no crowd. It has nothing.
Yeah,
It's
Shayna
like watching
Baszler.
a movie without the. It's like watching the movie without a soundtrack or a score. Like
Yep.
with no crowd involvement and no crowd sound and reaction.
Yep.
It just makes it just made it like it made it seem like those Tough Enough trials.
Yep.
Where they're just like you running around slapping the mat, falling, doing the moves and slapping the mat and everything. It took all the spontaneity and the energy out of it.
Could you imagine watching like a like an 80s hair metal band play a live stadium but no audience.
Right.
Yeah, it's like watching him film a music video.
Every flaw and every vocal and every missed note, it's just gonna stick out like a sore thumb. And you'd be like, "Wow, they sound like shit live." And it's like, yeah, most bands do because it's not produced, but it gets masked by the energy of the crowd and the atmosphere.
This would be the opposite, because this would be like watching a band film their music video where they're not actually playing the instruments, they're not actually singing, they're just doing it for the camera moves as it moves around. That's what it would be looking like.
Oh my god, yeah, that'd be pretty bad.
Oh, it's bad double A.
It is fucking hilarious, by the way.
It's bad double A. Like, I have zero interest whatsoever. It's all about the old stuff for me. Like, it's not even close. Like, it's just a different energy. And it's sad because you want to deny the fact that, hey, it's over. What we see on TV now is not what it was before. And I don't give a shit what the promotion is. It's gone. Like, that business, that industry, and the way that they used to entertain us is gone.
That's why you see as well so many of those the real veterans, like those old guys that are still going around. It's because no one I don't think as many people in the new generation or the new era really get the mindset and the mentality of what it was to be entertaining and do those things in. Like,
oh, you're right. You're right.
And the ones before that, and it's also why there's so many. I think they rely so heavily on these generational like these people that are these industry, like the family people, like the Rhodes and those Islanders and stuff that are going through at the moment. It's always been like Randy Orton. It's always been a family business in a way.
Just think about what it took to actually make it to be in like primetime TV wrestling, right? Where you had to come from and what you had to do. Like that's not going to happen now because shitty YouTubers make more money. Like
those
really
of,
shitty
Steve
YouTubers
Austin
make more money sitting there podcasting than
these
fuckers made while they were making millions of dollars for their promotions until they got their big contracts.
Yep.
Or even like you hear the stories of the people when they're on the way up, like Austin working for $10 each match and surviving off uncooked potatoes and stuff. Where are those people? They're few far in between in this.
Who's going to put that kind of work in for that kind of low odds payout? Like you're not going to. The commitment level just isn't going to be there. The love of it, the craftsmanship, like it's just not going to, because there's too many easier alternatives to fame and fortune in the modern era. And some of these, I bet you some of these pros that are doing these podcasts now are making more money doing the stupid podcasts.
Oh yeah. So when
way more.
When Mandy, what's her name, got released, she was NXT Women's Champion, all that stuff. Because she had OnlyFans or whatever, I think she's making like 10 times what she made working for WWE.
No, I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
And for way easier work.
Yeah, not on the road every day.
Well, and not getting injured.
Yeah, and I was watching something recently, who knows what, and someone made the comment, they were talking to one of these young people about watching old tape and whoever else, and they're like, no, I've like never watched a full match, yet you're trying to become a wrestler. Like, that's indicative of, hey, the way it used to be is gone forever.
Yeah. It's like when you hear about actors now, they don't watch movies or TV shows. It's like, well, you like
Why?
how have you never seen you've never seen like one of these classic movies that what actually, like, what are you drawing from for your inspiration? What are you just that good that your experience is just I'm switched on from the start. I don't need to have seen anything that's come before me. I want to be
More importantly, like, what inspired you to
untouched.
even go down this career path if you have no interest in viewing it?
Yeah.
Be like, well, gosh, I hate racing, so I'm going to become a race car driver.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a race? No, they're dumb. But you're going to drive a race car.
I just want to go fast.
Well, yeah. I'll make a lot of money and be popular, right?
Yeah. That's a good point. So, speaking of old stuff, let's take a look at this here.
What a freeze frame. What a freeze frame.
I know.
That was just
so
for
this
me,
is
that was just
yeah,
for me
this
and Bill
is
Goldberg.
Bill Goldberg.
Bill Goldberg.
Who are you to doubt El Dandy?
Hypnosis.
Dude, that was like one of the greatest eras ever. Like when Brett was just frustrated in WCW and just started acting like an asshole in interviews and stuff.
Yeah.
That was just great. At least he was getting paid though. So this is 1990 Survivor Series, guys. Was it still on Thanksgiving in 1990, Blake? Do you remember? Like our Thanksgiving? You guys don't even have Thanksgiving because you don't have anything to be thankful for. But even the Canadians have a Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we're thankful we got off the boat.
Yeah. I think it was still on Thanksgiving in 1990. That ended at some point in the 90s. It was kind of cool because, you have your dinner at 2:00 and maybe you get rid of your relatives or whatever. And then the pay-per-view's on. And one of those fucking Survivor Series, I think was 6 hours long. I think it was 89 or 88, maybe. It was a long fucking pay-per-view. Crazy. Because I remember it came on 2 tapes. You had to have 2 tapes. Remember, like with long movies like Braveheart and shit like that, you'd have to have 2 different VHS tapes.
Yeah.
Yep. Greg remembers it from the video store.
Yeah, fuckers never rewound one of them. The first one was never rewound. Please be kind and rewind.
Well, you want to just get straight to the next one. You take the first one out straight away and you put the next one in.
Well, yeah, but you remember, like, people would have, you had your VCR, and then you had this other device next to your VCR, the tape rewinder, because everybody was convinced that rewinding your videotapes in your VHS wore your VHS out faster.
I never had one of those. Never, ever.
Oh my God. People had them all the time. And the worst thing is those things were way more cheaply made than VHS players, and more often than not, if a customer brought back a tape where it was snapped, it was because the tape rewinder didn't slow down at the end of the reel and just snapped it right off the end of the reel.
Oh, no, Greg,
I never had one at home. I only remember they had one at the video store that looked like a sports car. And whenever you take a video back and it wasn't rewound, they'd put it in the sports car and push the thing down and rewind.
Do you remember seeing wrestling videos in your video store? Did you have a whole rack?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, we had them all.
Dude, WCW had some bangers. Like, they had some good taste. Probably better than their television, to be honest.
So, War Games?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Thank you for saying that. You guys were talking and I forgot. God bless, during that era, NXT for bringing back War Games. Because for years, WWE was like, we're not going to use War Games. We're not going to use War Games. NXT started doing it, and now it's the thing at Survivor Series every single year on the main rosters. War Games is freaking awesome. Do you guys know what War Games is, Greg?
No idea.
So there's 2 rings, and there's a cage over both of them, right? And it starts out with 2 guys, and then there's like a flip of the coin, and whoever gets the flip has the advantage for the rest of the match because your one of your tag team partners, usually 5 guys on a team, gets to go in and you get to gang up on the other guy for usually 2 to 5 minutes, whatever. Then his guy comes out. Well, now it's even. Well, then the other team gets someone and it's 3-on-2. And then once everyone's in there, you can't win until everyone's in there. And then you either have to submit or pin someone. It's not like an escape the cage thing. It was one of the funnest things in the 80s. Well, whenever they acquired WCW, they wouldn't use it for years. And then NXT started using it at what they called War Games. And then eventually at Survivor Series, they started using it because they kind of went away from the elimination matches. I would guess after I stopped watching in 2006 or so, at some point they stopped doing the elimination matches they traditionally did at Survivor Series. But so this is, again, 35 years ago next month, guys, the debut of The Undertaker. And on this team, you've got the Hart Foundation, Dusty Rhodes, and I think, who is their partner? I don't see anyone else in the ring. Blake, do you know?
In this match, Coco Beware.
Coco, okay. I got to meet him. He's still doing the cons a lot. I'd love to get a autograph and a selfie with him too, because he was pretty damn good in the ring.
Him and the Bird.
And he was a good singer as well, like great voice. And I'm not throwing shade there. He really did have a good singing voice. That match where they had 3 rings was terrible. Yeah, World War III. Yeah, it was like Royal Rumble or whatever, or Battle Royal, but in 3 rings. That was retarded. So we can't play this, obviously, because we'll get hit for it, but this is the full event, which I find strange because it's only 220. Usually these things would go at least 3 hours back then. You got Howard Finkel in the ring there, the greatest ring announcer of all time, bar none. And then comes out the other team, Honky Tonk Man and Greg. Oh, remember that Rhythm and Blues where they made Greg Valentine with the black hair?
I remember.
I got to meet Greg too. Not you. I mean, I already met you. I mean, Greg Valentine, he still does the cons. Tough guy.
We should dress Greg up like this.
Yeah.
I would rather die than look anything like Elvis.
So they had formed a tag team.
I hate everything, but very few things do I hate more than Elvis.
I hate the Beatles more than I hate Elvis.
This is hurtful.
I hate the Beatles.
The Beatles did not
suck.
Sing Blue Christmas, which is the worst Christmas song of all time.
You got John Lennon, So This Is Christmas.
Look at this.
Better song.
Look at that freeze frame right there.
That's when you know you're a heel.
Yeah. Got a little fan there telling Ted DiBiase he's number 1.
He's got the $1 million belt there as well.
Yep. I think I'd like to have a replica of that. Like look, Winged Eagle, I'd like a real Winged Eagle, and I wouldn't buy their one because they make the stupid chopped off WWF logo. I know a guy that makes them for a pretty decent price, like $125, but I'd like to have a $1 million belt too.
It'd be pretty cool.
All right, let's see. So you got Ted DiBiase.
Do you love Blue Christmas, Gordon? My God,
I don't even know what it is, guys. I like Jailhouse Rock and some of the others, but
I love the blue Christmas.
Oh, I like the one that Mark McCollum does, Blake, the guitar comedy guy. Don't be cruel.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Because we shouldn't be cruel. It's not good to be cruel. All right, so you got...
If you're organized, you'd have that clip ready.
Yep. You got Ted DiBiase. You got Rhythm and Blues.
This is, as far as I can remember, my first... one of my first memories of watching wrestling was...
Oh, that's cool.
The Undertaker's debut Like I don't really because I was only
Yeah,
really
thanks.
watching
I feel
things
older.
through. I was only watching
So
things through videotapes, so I only really got like the, his debut, and then maybe like a week or two later, I was already watching his match with Hogan and stuff. So I don't think I saw it at the start of 1990, but I saw maybe like the start of 91, and then I saw into his matches and stuff through that year where he got to the belt. But for me, this was what got me into it was Undertaker's debut, the Bret Hart and the Hart Foundation. I was all because and Survivor Series itself, I was all into the concept of the team battles.
yeah, so the story here, the background is they had this stupid egg that they had been showing on television, right?
And Undertaker thought that was going to be his debut.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
thought he was going to
He,
come out of the egg as like a giant chicken, like a giant
no, no,
chicken
yeah,
wrestler.
no. He thought he was going to be Eggman or something, and then he also thought he made a mistake because Vince called him one time, and it's like, well, like, what are you good at? And he said, like, singing in the shower, and he's like, oh shit, now I'm going to be like singing in the shower, man, or whatever. And just so people know, in WCW, he had a pretty cool gimmick. He was Mean Mark, and he just wore leather, and he had the HP, the heart punch, pretty cool finisher. Stan the Man Stasiak in the 70s used it. Former WWW, that's 3WF champions.
Was
He
that
used the HP.
any relation to Sean Stasiak?
Yeah, that's his dad. Yep. Stan the Man was Sean's dad. Yep. In any event, he didn't know what was going to happen, and then they came out with this gimmick, right? So we'll talk about it in a minute, but let's kind of look here. So no one knew who the mystery tag team partner was until Ted got in the ring, and then that's the clip that gets played where Ted's yelling like from Death Valley. And look who managed the Undertaker initially. If I can get
Brother
the
Love.
pause right here. Brother Love, one of the greatest, I don't give a shit what you say, one of the greatest performances in wrestling ever. Like Bruce Pritchard was brilliant with this character because right around that time, 85, maybe a little bit earlier, 82-ish to early 90s, like these televangelists were just in the news all the time for all kinds of stuff, like Oral Roberts, send me $1 million or
Oh yeah, I mean,
$250,000 or I'm going to die.
even in the
Stuff
movie
like
Fletch,
that.
like the movie Fletch is all about that. Was it Fletch or Fletch 2? I think it was
Oh,
Fletch
dude, that another one. And then R. Lee Ermey playing Reverend. Fuck, I had those Doomcock clips of that about a year ago, a couple of years ago. What was the name? Farnsworth Ministries in that movie. Freaking hilarious. Freaking hilarious.
So yeah, it
But
was
yeah,
definitely in the zeitgeist at the time. Those sort of characters.
yes. So Brother Love, just his voice, the way he looked, the stuff he said, it was just. And Bruce Pritchard was doing commentary in I'd say late 87 into 88. He was doing commentary on like primetime and stuff like that with Mike McGurk, the girl ring announcer, and usually someone else, like maybe what's his name, Pete Doherty, the Duke of Dorchester. And so no one, you wouldn't even know it's him. It didn't look like him. It didn't sound like him. Just brilliant performance by Bruce Pritchard here as Brother Love. So he was the manager initially. So here's the character, right? Out he comes, and you're like, all right, he's got this big tie and all that stuff. Is this going to be another one of those cheesy gimmicks, right? And at the end of the day, on paper, this could have been a huge failure.
Oh yeah. Just like 1 degree to the like right or left, and this character doesn't work at all. It just becomes another one of those, like even like an Isaac Yankem
Hokey.
that
Yeah,
came
just
late.
hokey.
Yeah, it just becomes.
Did you say Isaac?
Yeah.
Isaac.
Because there's 2 A's.
Yeah, but it's Isaac. Try it.
Isaac.
Isaac.
Shut
No,
up.
just try it. Like he can't do it. Like I can say Isaac, but can't you say Isaac?
I can say Isaac, but I want to say
Okay.
Isaac.
In any event,
Speaking of eyes, Undertaker works because of his eyes.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say the way he carried himself here, right? He came out, he's playing it straight, like, hey, I'm the dead man. I'm gonna make this work. Because again, I think he even thought that, oh no, like all these cheesy gimmicks are starting to come out. It got really bad a couple of years later, but they were starting to come out, with all these weird things. It wasn't just, hey, I'm Roddy Piper from Scotland when I'm really not from Scotland. It was like, all right, here's the Birdman and things like that. So he, in the back of his mind, he's like, this couldn't work. But the crowd was like, oh shit, this guy's kind of scary, right? The way he carried himself. He's big, he's tall. I think he's like, what, 6'10" at that point in his life, legitimately.
No,
So,
I think he was like 6'8", legitimately.
Okay, a little bit taller than me then. But it's all about first impressions, right? If he had come out and something had gone wrong, like he tripped or who knows what could have gone wrong, if he just didn't carry himself right, the way he gets in the ring, he has to hold his hat on. There's like a process to all of it. So
now, correct me if I'm wrong too. Like he debuted at a time too when like westerns were kind of making a comeback too, right?
Yep, exactly. Yes.
So it's
and here's
kind of like your Tombstone kind of, or your Wyatt Earp. This is like
Young
he's
Guns.
playing the character from like one of those.
Well,
and it just kind of struck at the moment as well.
and Blake may know this, but I doubt you do, Greg, and some in the chat may know. But Vince, no, I'm being serious. Vince never really knows anything but wrestling. He doesn't watch movies. He doesn't go to the movies. He doesn't watch television. He used to eat, sleep, and breathe wrestling, right? So he'd see these movies years later. So more than likely, he saw like the Clint Eastwood movies, and he's like, I need that. That's how Razor Ramon came about. He watched Scarface almost 10 years after it came out, and he's like, I need that character. And then he met Scott Hall and said, oh yeah, you could play that character. And if I'm Hall, I'm like, hell yeah, that's money right there, right? So a lot of these gimmicks would be way after the thing was popular. But you're right, they still had some momentum in Westerns, but I guarantee it's because he watched like the Dollars trilogy or something like that years after he probably should have watched them. And he's like, oh, or Outlaw Josie Wales or something like that. High Plains Drifter.
There's the concept of a character, and then there's the execution of the character too. So like, you're Vince, you could come up with, and I'm spitballing here, but like you could come up with an idea for a character, like this is what I'm thinking of, but then like some guys got to put the look together.
Yep.
Ultimately, Vince says, yeah, that's the look, or no, that, fuck off. But like somebody's got to put the look together too. So, I mean, that makes a big difference. I mean, for me, for wrestling, most gimmicks I rolled my eyes at. I was just like, just the name of the character and everything. It didn't have to be like, or a nickname, like like something like Hacksaw Jim Duggan because he had carried a 2x4, but his name is Jim Duggan.
Yeah,
not like, who are you? Well, I'm Erwin R. Shyster, IRS. Fucking lame. That shit would roll my eye. Undertaker would be one that I would typically have rolled my eyes at. Like, this is lame. It's a gimmick.
It'd be very easy to.
It's so fake.
If it didn't have any gravitas and build up.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was like lightning. It just worked. Because there's a lot of these ones that don't, like someone mentioned before, like Shockmaster in the chat. Like there's a lot of these these big build-up debuts that just fall flat.
What's funny about Shockmaster is after that happened, they started having Fred come out like with a hard hat on, and then he would fall all the time. Like they made like it into a meme, basically the entire gimmick. So he's still going to cons and stuff. He seems to be a really good guy. Fred Ottman, Tugboat, typhoon, whatever you want to call him. But yeah, I think, like I said earlier, and then Blake just said, it's the way he carried himself that made what could have been a huge failure work. And then in the crowd, they did a good job on television, on pay-per-view, showing these kids' faces that were terrified. Then the kids at home are like, "Ah, shit!" Right?
And
These kids in the arena are freaked out. I'm glad I'm not there because this guy is scary.
Like the faces he was, like the baby faces he was against in the match as well. Like the way.
We're gonna look at some of the action like in a minute here,
and everything that goes into it. But I think Mr. T was talking about, probably a lot of people don't know, but the Undertaker had another name alongside the Undertaker name. If others know what the other name is, I think, is he talking about Kane? Kane.
Yeah, I think for one or two shows, they said, "Oh yeah, it's Kane the Undertaker." I don't know if it's like in any tape or anything where you can hear it, but
I think it comes up in like a title, like a title card when he's coming down, and
yeah, I think you're right. Yep.
But they ditched that pretty quickly.
Yep. And then they brought it back. That's gotta be Kane.
Yeah, that's that. They're like, yeah, that's the one we meant was Kane.
Yeah. So anyway, the entrance was amazing, and then the music itself, right? It's just the
funeral march.
Yeah, Jim Johnston, I'm sure he created that, but it is the funeral march. He didn't create the funeral march, but just the way that he composed it. And they had different versions of it, but that probably also had a lot to do with setting the tone with the audience that night as well. Mm-hmm. So,
well, and that big like organ hits, pun intended.
Yeah,
the crowd goes crazy.
Well, it's the toll first, right?
Mm-hmm. That became more pronounced over the years. That, and then the lights cutting out, that became just synonymous with the character.
Yeah.
Well, and it became like the go-to thing with like an entrance. It wasn't just like you had to have like something and then the music. So it would be like,
Austin with the glass breaking,
and then then his music, and Undertaker, the bell tone, and then the funeral march. It was. Or like if you always go back to like, what was it, like the Road Warriors is like the motorcycle, and then
oh yeah,
what a rush.
Yeah, they call that the LOD pop, right?
Oh yeah, one of the biggest stars or two of the biggest stars of the era.
Probably the biggest one was the Wembley Stadium entrance whenever they came
92.
out. Yep. That was like
92, yeah. That was
the
same
freaking
card, the same card as Brett and Bulldog.
The walls almost came down at that pop. So, Chris, I didn't know that. I'll have to go out there and find it. I didn't know it was actually out there.
Yeah, I've heard it a couple of times.
So anyway, the match starts, and he does the whole thing where he takes the hat and the trench coat off, and just again the way he carries himself. I think the costuming, I think they could have spent a little bit more time on that.
It definitely evolved over the next couple of years.
It did. But initially, I feel like, hey, you guys want to make this work? Let's spend a little bit more time on this. But again, just the way he's carrying himself here, like you can tell he's in the character, and he'd never played the character up until now, right? So I think I've seen a lot of interviews with him where he said that he spent a lot of time like figuring out who is the character, and if I'm him, how do I behave and stuff like that. So a lot of people won't put that much thought into it. So it's pretty interesting, and I guess something you should admire him for, that he actually did that. And he's probably just happy he wasn't Eggman.
Yeah.
So in the ring,
he'd be over the moon.
Yeah.
On the moon.
So in the ring, like, the guy moves fast. It's not just like, oh, he's walking around kind of like a giant Gonzalez or whatever. As soon as the bell rings, he starts really moving. He's doing like the leaping sling blade clothesline, basically,
the
is what it
lariats.
is. Yeah, that's a good term. He's
The flying
eliminating guys
lariats, I
left
think, is
and
what they
right.
used to call it.
Yep. And then you got Bret Hart in there, who's one of the best sellers in the entire industry and history, making him look
Excuse
like
me.
$1 million.
The best there was, the best there is, the best ever will be.
Yeah. Yep.
Canadian.
Man, he looks
Not
big
even,
there.
Not even a human being.
Who?
He's Canadian.
Brett.
He's not even
He's
a human
Canadian.
being. He's garbage on the bottom of a shoe.
He's less than the geese to Greg.
Yep. Moose dropping the wrestler.
Let's keep going here. Do you remember, did he, Power and Glory, did he wind up getting eliminated, Blake?
Was it a count out?
Oh, it looks like he and Dusty like brawled into the back. Yeah. And then Dusty had that weird storyline where Dustin came in, and then they both left and went back to WCW. Yeah, I think that's what happened. It shows here, like, I think they brawled into the back, and then that's how they handled that. And then WWF Superstars, I think the next weekend, and they probably already taped that, to be honest. That was another great production because they were zooming in on the kids' faces like, oh, shit, this guy's freaking scary and stuff. So great introduction to the character and really the right way of doing it, because think about it. When you're bringing out some characters after all these vignettes, after months, and then they lose a match or they look like an idiot, it's like, what was all that buildup even for if you're just going to chuck them under the bus and bury them right out of the gate? Like Razor Ramon's another good one, right? All those amazing, hilarious, honestly, vignettes. He comes in and I'm trying to think of who his first opponent was. One of those random jobber guys that are not really random. They were one of the more regular ones, but he kicked his ass, and it's like, whoa, this guy's kind of a badass, right? That's the way to do it. Instead of building someone up and then they're just no one when they finally show up on television. And that's happened a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've always wondered it, like, because like this isn't, you're not watching a documentary, a real events folding, and you're always thinking, like, I always thought in the back of my head to be like, okay, like, what did this guy do or not do to like piss off the bosses? Like, all of a sudden it's like you're the golden child, you're on your way up, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, they let him go.
Politics is
they fired him.
The scenes and what led to this run. Just like DDP, like we brought up before, like, DDP, when he went over to WWF and he had that angle where he was the stalker of Undertaker's wife. Like, is that the best way to bring in DDP and use him? And because that angle didn't work, was that just an excuse to get rid of him, nearly straight away?
Right,
and
right.
Just like from an audience perspective, you're like, okay, whose dick didn't just suck?
Yeah.
You're like, you're gone. Like,
well,
and that's the funny thing about this business. Like, if you're in it, like you just like, they could destroy your career with one storyline.
Oh yeah, and they do it.
You're fucking done.
Anytime someone's leaving, the company, they'll do their best to do that, so that the new company they go to
make them dog shit.
Yeah, so that their value won't be there.
Someone who destroyed their career without even realizing it was when Alundra Blaze threw the women's title in the belt on Nitro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's, you don't realize it at the time, but once WWE becomes the only ticket in town, it's very hard to get back into the graces after that. So yeah, you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
one storyline, even if it's not a bad angle at the time, can come back to bite you. Like Katie Vick, Kane's probably Triple H. They're probably regretting the Katie Vick angle. There's a lot of things like Vince McMahon versus God, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. That was
Or
horrible.
Durag Vince, even though the memes will never get old. But Durag Vince, maybe looking back, maybe wasn't the greatest idea ever, but it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Always loved the makeup to make him look a little dead. I remember once Paul Bearer came in, there was this segment where they're like in Death Valley and he's in his shop. Undertaker is while Paul Bearer is talking, and he has this
funeral parlor.
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't. They were actually in a shop, like in a
wasn't the funeral
western
parlor
ghost
yet?
town, and he was like building a coffin. And what do you call that tool? I have one in the garage. The one you use to like shave off like wood. It's got
lathe?
like a knob on it, and then the blade is like inline. I can't
Not
think
a
of what that.
lathe, it's a
Yeah, it's not a lathe.
a wood lathe. It's a
I fucking have one in my toolbox because I needed one for a door one time because the door wouldn't at my old
plenum.
house. It wouldn't. Yes, a plenum. He's just going like this, like dump, rub, dump, rub. And then like Paul Bear is just cutting this promo. It's like that's exactly how that character at that time in the early '90s should have been handled before he actually started talking and stuff like that. So they did a good
Well,
follow up.
yeah. The character evolved so much over the years, but you mentioned before, like Brother Love being, how much of a fan you were of his. But once Paul Bearer came along, the character hit another level completely, and just,
Oh yeah,
I think that was like the beginning of the complete rise to, like.
But who else came along?
4 or 5 year run. I went like years later.
No, like just a year later, like Jake the Snake. That whole association was freaking awesome too.
Rivalry, yeah.
Well, no, first he was like his mentor, remember?
Oh yeah, but I mean, leading in like that match at WrestleMania, that the culmination of that rivalry.
Yes.
As much as the Hogan title win and stuff, that was part Undertaker's. Like, I mean, was that his first WrestleMania win, or maybe his second?
Who?
Could have been his first.
No, his first was Jimmy Superfly Snuka, right?
Yes, that's it. And then because the streak started. Was that 7 or 8?
That was at 8.
8, yeah.
Yeah, because hold on a minute here. 91? No, that would have been 7 because 87 was WrestleMania 3. 91 would have been his first. Right, so that would have been 7.
Sounds like a lovely dream, Mike.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? You need to make a YouTube channel and then just report that, and then you'll get like 200,000 subs minimum within just a couple of days. Just tag Candace and Nina, and they will share that out.
Well,
WrestleMania 7, yeah.
I think if you want Candace involved, you got to say that Walt Disney came to you in a dream and told you that Kathleen Kennedy is a closet Jew. And go from there.
But Giant Gonzalez, that was like the opposite end we were talking about before. In her debut, like the Undertaker and the mystique in a character goes well, and you can build off of that. Where Giant Gonzalez was kind of the opposite.
Yeah, he wasn't very good, but I'll say this about him. Read a lot about him, and by all accounts, seemed like a really nice guy. I think he he died just a couple of years ago. I think he was living on a ranch in his home country. Was it? Was it Peru? Is that where he was from?
I'm not too sure.
One of the South American countries. He was living on a ranch, kind of like Andre did. Just because those giant guys, they can't live in normal settings. He was way taller than Andre. Andre wasn't even 7 feet tall. A lot of people don't know that.
He towered over the Undertaker when they had that
Mm-hmm.
when they had that rivalry. Like he
Yep.
looked like Undertaker. He looked like Undertaker made Rey Mysterio.
Chile. Okay. I don't know because, I watched the interview with Stephanie Vaquer the other day on CVV, and I think she's one of the only wrestlers from Chile. So I'm not really sure, but somewhere down there. And then second, I liked his WCW theme music. It's freaking awesome. And he wasn't too bad in the ring in WCW because he was lighter and younger at the time, and he could move around a little bit better. But by the time he got to WrestleMania 9, I just think he had a lot of physical problems and he couldn't move around very well. And plus, they probably told him to work that way as well.
And it also it looks so weird, that bodysuit, that weird hair bodysuit.
Yeah, it
People
was.
shouldn't have hair on their shoulders like that.
All right,
Giant Gonzalez. Let's see where he's from. Argentina. So
for me, and I haven't been into wrestling for a long time, most big men. Most of the big men didn't have gimmicks that I thought was very good or entertaining. They were all kind of like, I don't know, just stupid to me. Andre the Giant had a good one because it was like he was kind of like this untamed beast kind of character. He wasn't just big; he was just kind of like he was a menace, like Undertaker. It worked. I liked Big Boss Man because it was like he was like the corrupt copper when he was a heel, and
but Andre being
slightly
big
racist.
Was kind of his being big was kind of his gimmick. Like he was billed as the eighth wonder of the world, and he was really the epitome of the giant. Where a lot of these people, like Big Show as well, like he was billed as the giant and stuff. But a lot of the big men they brought in, like really, unless you are Andre or Big Show, then you're kind of small in comparison, and then you've got to fit into that mold where you're either like a Kane and Undertaker type, or you're more of a a bit more mobile, or even like Kevin Nash, who he had that Diesel character. You've just become like a big dude in leather with
I think they just become interchangeable and replaceable.
Yeah, exactly.
So like if your whole gimmick is just that you're a big guy, that's just not a very compelling gimmick. That's not interesting.
Right.
I think that became a lot of the product now. There's a lot of those big dudes who are just sort of interchangeable.
And I think it's even worse because the audience is like, yeah, you're just all on pharmaceuticals. Like you're not even like legit big.
Yeah.
You know who was
you're just juiced. And you're born tall and you juiced.
You know who doesn't get enough credit at a young age, and that's Paul White. Like if you go back to early WCW, like he's doing like nip ups and
Drop
stuff.
Kicks. Yeah.
Yeah, and drop kicks and single leg drop kicks and all kinds of stuff. But as he got older, golly, like he was completely immobile. It was pretty bad. I think his last good match was John Cena for the US title. What was that at 21 or 20?
And that was way before that. Oh, you mean WrestleMania? Yeah, I thought.
Yes.
No, I thought you meant 2020, 21.
No. I think it was 20 XX.
Yeah, it was like around there.
And he was still using Word Life as his entrance music. Yeah.
He was the
one I made a diss rap out of.
But yeah, I mean, and that's a long time. Like Big Show didn't retire for a long time after that match, so he was. I think it was one of those Vince or the people just kept telling him, "We just get bigger, get heavier," sort of thing. That's your gimmick or your role is just to be like the huge giant. Where he had,
but you're just the guy for the baby face to topple. Then that's all you become.
He had a great like sort of move set in that WCW run where he was just the giant.
Yep.
I don't want to change the subject too much, but while we're on the subject of wrestling, I gotta say this. Like, to me, like the bar none, the most accurate gimmick in wrestling history has to be a tag.
Has to be what?
Has to be a tag team. The Bushwhackers.
From Down Under.
Yes. Very accurate. Like, I think if you watch those things, you can, and you zoom in and really listen close, you can hear both those guys just yelling at each other to fuck off Disney. You fucking cunt.
Well, they're from New Zealand.
They'll usually
close
build
enough.
as both. Yeah, they'll usually build as both, like Down
Now,
Under
did
and
you
like
guys know that in NWA,
Kidding, Rhino.
in NWA, they were heels, the sheep herders. And you know who their flag bearer was, Blake? Johnny Ace.
He was in the Sheep Shaggers.
Yeah. But yeah, they were heels. They were the sheep herders. And then, you know, Vince is like, oh, look at these goofy, crazy guys. We're going to make them lick each other's heads and the crowds will love them. And their finisher was the worst ever.
The headbutt, the
battering
headbutt.
ram. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yep.
I mean, honestly, like a lot of finishers I look at and I'd be like, so that's just like a slight variation of a standard wrestling move.
Yeah,
Okay.
but that one wasn't even. That was just like a,
Yeah, that one was just dumb.
we're doing it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah, but they've got to look like they'll fuck you up, like the heart attack, you know, where...
Oh yeah, that was such a devastating move. That the death device, the fucking
Doomsday device.
Okay, yeah, but let's...
But then there was the
let's
Dudley death device, the 3D.
Yep.
Let's go back to like early WrestleManias, right? Let's Hogan, right? Leg drop, fucking lame. Like, how does that hurt anybody? People's out like dumb. The gorilla press, the Warriors move. We're like, oh my god, I'm dropping from 6 feet. Oh no. I'm
Yeah,
dead.
but he goes off the ropes and then he does a splash on your back, right?
Oh yeah,
The splash,
devastating.
that's what adds to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like a lot of those finishes are just like, that's standard stuff. I don't get how that's a devastating move. You know.
Well, let's talk about good ones like the DDT, right? Like that looks like the shit hurts, especially the way that Jake would execute it. Before it was like a just regular move that everyone uses.
Yeah, but see, that's the problem. Is like when it's a regular move that everybody else does. Like,
it's more devastating when Jake does it.
Yeah,
yeah,
just
exactly.
It's like a super kick from
that.
Shawn
That didn't
Michaels,
work
but-
for me.
It's like a Mortal Kombat combo. Like that character, like does it better, right?
Yeah, that doesn't work for me. That never. I see things like that, and like the DDT is a cool move. Like, trust me, like my brother suffered many of them, and he's alive today. So like
the sharpshooter. Thank you very much. I was just about to say that. Like that shit fucking hurts.
Yeah,
like,
submission moves I can buy because like
mm-hmm.
you know, even dumb ones like the camel clutch, you know, dumber looking ones. I'm sure that fucking hurts if you actually get a real one done to you. Like those that can't feel pleasant.
Stretch
But
the
see,
back out.
like those, I believe, like just dropping a leg on me, like draping your bent knee over my chest doesn't scare me.
Pile driver.
And like, how about I just not run right into your boot? Because you're not kicking me. You're just sticking your leg up and hoping I hit it. That's dumb. You know, rest in peace, Hulk. Like I was a Hulkamaniac, but like looking back, those are really dumb moves.
Yeah, you could sell it like Shawn Michaels does when he gets the big boot and flies into the turnbuckle and flips over the top rope.
Stunner. trying to think of some other ones that are like actually good, right? From that era, especially.
I mean,
Pile
like,
Driver.
Pile Driver, I could believe, because it'd be like, all right, you're smacking a guy's head on the.
Oh, I got one for
on
you.
the mat.
Coco's finisher. He called it the Ghostbuster, but it was a fucking brain buster. That's a dangerous move, man.
I could believe the sell on like top turnbuckle jumps too, even though
like
I know they
Randy's
weren't
elbow.
landing necessarily, but they looked cool at least, you know.
like Macho Man's elbow and stuff like that. Like, yeah, you can,
Right, like if he actually hits you with it, like that'd fucking hurt. Yeah.
No, I
Well,
think
mean, like-
somebody got injured from one of those
Oh,
one
yeah, look,
time.
probably a lot of people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
What
more
about
likely to get
something-
injured trying to do one than receive one.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the thing. But something like Earthquake. You know, where he jumps
Where he
around
just
the
sits
ring.
on you.
Yeah, if he jumps around the ring first, he's got to get the earthquake going, and then he jumps down.
And then
sits
he
on
just
your chest.
squats on your chest like he's gonna take a dump.
Yeah, it's like a bonsai drop, like Yoko's.
That was the lame one. I'm just like, oh, okay, so he sits on you. I
No,
guess
but
he
he'd
is
jump
fat.
around, and then he'd run back and forwards, and then he'd do the running sit down onto you.
Oh,
If he like missed, if he didn't have his ankle in the right spot at the right time, that jobber's a pancake.
What about the Harlem Hangover?
I can't visualize that one. Sorry.
We're coming for you, Hogan.
Yeah, so Booker T's on the top rope. He does a flip, and then it's like a guillotine leg drop on the guy's throat.
The head.
I freaking love that shit.
Okay, I mean,
The Harlem
for
Axe kick.
points for acrobatics at least. Like I'll give you some points for acrobatics, even if it doesn't look like it's devastating. Like you get some points for like, hey, that one takes effort, not like a lazy fucking gorilla press or a body slam. Like even like DDTs are pretty lazy.
Yeah, that Doomsday device, it's crazy how even those jobbers would sell that. They'd do a complete freaking 360 whenever Hawk took his head off. Like, it was just crazy.
Oh yeah, that was the one where like he had him up on his shoulders or whatever. And
Yep.
the other, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those
But
guys
that
would
looked
do
cool.
poof.
Yeah, but
flip
see,
like
that
Mr.
looked cool.
Perfect
That
taking
looked
a
like it
clothesline.
hurt.
Yeah. And dangerous. Yeah.
And there's always that classic story of how they were all out at a bar one night, and Vince was getting them to put their finishing moves on him in the parking lot.
Jeez.
He took the Legion, and then he took a heart attack.
Yeah. What about a power bomb? That'll knock the wind out of you, right?
Yeah.
Yep, that one looks like it hurts.
Man, I love Sid's more than anyone else's.
Yeah, or like when Undertaker started bringing that into his repertoire, he
Yeah,
brought that into the finisher,
The
the
choke
last
slam.
ride.
No,
Yeah, he had the choke slam, then he had the tombstone pile driver, but then when he went into that American Badass phase, he brought in that
last ride. Yeah,
so
it's a little bit different because he extends you as high as he can, and
he
then
lifts them up. Yeah.
yep.
Hmm.
And then that one time he took Triple H up, but he grabbed the sledgehammer as he went up, and as he came down, he hit him right in the head with it.
What was Honky Tongs? His was like a weird
Shake, rattle, and roll.
Yeah, the like roly poly, flip him over, flip you.
I'm
going to put you on your back now.
It was a swinging neck breaker, is what it was.
Usually, he was just hitting people with the guitar,
Yeah, that too.
or getting
Yep.
hit himself.
Yeah.
It was a bit like Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
Well, some people had like their gimmick was always kind of like a cheat. Like what was $1 Million Man's? His was a sleeper hold, right?
Yeah, the $1 Million Dream.
Yeah, and Brutus had a sleeper as well.
So he could cut your hair. Yep.
Yeah.
But you know what it was before that when he was like a heel, and then he was in Dream Team with Greg Valentine, right? It was the high knee. And then when he was Booty Man In WCW, it was the Heine. Get it?
Oh my god!
I'm not kidding you. He had so many gimmicks in WCW.
No,
It's ridiculous.
It wasn't the Fame Arthur.
No. I hate that
Yeah.
move.
Well, that's another one of those
Sleepers-
stupid ones where it's like it's all
Yeah.
effort for how much payoff is there in that?
Right.
Like a lot of like that Punk one as well. He's what is it? Go to sleep or whatever.
Yeah.
Sleepers are anticlimactic. They're like believable, but they're just not very good. Like they're not dramatic finishers. They're just like
Well,
okay.
yeah. Back in the day of like when you'd have those sort of finishes where it was the Hogan on the ground or whatever, and he's in the sleeper, and the ref grabs the arm and it goes up once, goes up twice.
Oh,
and then on the third,
that would happen like
hulking up.
every other match in the 80s. Like
Yeah.
every other match. Like, oh
Yeah,
nope,
Scott.
he's got his hand up. Oh, now he's gonna turbocharge. Rah.
Scott Hall's finisher, when he started out with that as the Diamond Stud, it was called the Diamond Death Drop, and then it was Razor's Edge, and then it was Outsider's Edge eventually.
Yeah.
The Crucifix Power Bomb. That's the technical name for it. Yeah, that was
When
pretty
it's-
devastating.
Like which is a bit different than the DDT. When it's a move that it's not really in the regular repertoire of a lot of the matches, then it stands out more as the finisher because of that not many people use that in a regular match, but the DDT, that one has
I
been
think for, like,
completely overused.
A dramatic finisher has to be something you can't just quickly slip into. Like a DDT, you can slip into very easy. Like there's no setup for it. It's just all of a sudden, bam, it's there. Same with like Austin's like thing. Like it was just he could hit you with it casually. There was no setup. It was just dink. There it is.
Yeah,
and like
there's,
that.
There's the variations of that as well, like the the RKO that comes out of nowhere versus the one where Randy's like taunting them and stuff and waiting for him to get off the ground, or the same with the super kick where like Michaels is tuning up the guitar, or when he just hits the super kick out of nowhere kind of thing. There's sort of variation to that as well.
Yeah.
Going back to the kicking out of like a sleeper hold, Hogan would do the whole thing, and then he'd like wag his finger like this,
Yeah.
Well, during the Attitude Era, like Stone Cold would have like a middle finger, and the freaking crowd would go nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, arms down once, twice, and middle finger. Like the crowd would just go insane at that shit.
Yeah, because
think
at least
he's-
that's got like, I mean, that has attitude with it. It's not just kind
Yeah.
of like I don't know. It seems, I guess, just more cool. I don't know. How else you could say it? It's cooler than just kind of the lame, like, here I come. I'm on a comeback now.
Yeah.
Because like the majority of Hogan's matches would end up being less like he gets his ass kicked for most of it. Like he starts off fast, then gets his ass kicked, almost is out, comes back from the edge with a late kick out, and then hulks up, wags his finger, 2 moves, fucking big boot, leg drop, done.
Yeah, boot, leg drop, shower.
Yeah. Man, you said something that made me think of something else. Can't remember what it was. But in any event, yeah.
Hey,
So
remember that time we were going to stick to a schedule?
No, I was looking at 3 hours here, so I just wanted to
We're
get
right on
through all that
schedule,
other
Greg.
shit in about an hour. So,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, good start to the career, and obviously it's really still going because he's still the character. He was there last year at WrestleMania in the main event, right?
Oh yeah, just like
That
we talked about before.
overbooked finish for the main event. So
we talk about before. It's just some of these some of these guys need to they need to ride off into the sunset and stay in the sunset. Like,
well, you thought that's what he literally did in that cinematic match, as they call him, with AJ Styles, right? His last match.
his last match. He's gonna have. At least he's not Ric Flair. I'll give him that. He hasn't had as many last matches as Rick.
I don't think he can do it anymore. I honestly don't.
Who, Rick or Undertaker?
Undertaker.
Oh, I don't think
Rick definitely can't.
I don't think either of them can. No.
No, Rick literally had a pacemaker at that one they did in Tennessee, and that it was a tag team match, and he literally had a pacemaker. It's like,
I'm surprised Rick is even still going.
yeah, no kidding. Yeah, Memphis was interesting. Like, they were unlike any other promotion for sure. But yeah, we got to wrap it up here, guys, because it's 2:00, coming up on 2:00, and morning comes early. We got a lot to do tomorrow. Again, gonna try to log off early because I've had a long week. So yeah, we're not gonna have expanded Bootyverse or any of that. Josh is getting spaced because he's a piece of crap. Screw him. So really quick, who are you guys spacing?
Do you have one?
Huh?
I had it.
Go ahead.
I had a clip, but I have to.
Do we have to watch a clip? Can you just say who it is?
I'll show you a picture of mine.
That's what she said.
Hope. That says offline for mine. You can see the tweet.
What is it?
It's Josh Hawley, which is a Republican.
Yeah,
but
I
he
know
said
that
something
guy.
here that just pisses me off when Republicans do this shit, because like, I thought you were a Republican. It's basically Amazon CEO makes $40.1 million a year, while the average Amazon maker makes less than $38K a year. How is that pro worker or pro America? It's time to put American workers first. Okay. Amazon has 1.2 million people working in its warehouses and distribution. So thank you. Let's get rid of the Amazon CEO's entire salary and give everybody a $40 a year raise. Woo! Way to change the world, Josh. I hate that crap.
Yeah, I agree.
Apply it to anything else. Like, you know what? I'll take a CEO making $40 million of a successful company versus a piece of shit athlete making $100 million playing in publicly built stadiums.
Yep.
I'll take that all day long, every day. Like,
Robots. I can't sense robots.
I didn't mean to hit that one.
be like,
Space the robots as well.
it's unfair that LeBron James makes way more money than the hot dog vendor. That's not right in America. I mean, it's just dumb. I hate that shit. And I really hate it when Republicans do that shit. That's all.
What's this, Blake?
A little clip.
Oh.
Australian published the original report reporting that these ISIS brides will be returning to Australia. The government has said that they have not provided assistance to returning ISIS brides. How does the government define assistance?
Repatriation assistance.
Does the Prime Minister consider providing citizenship by descent to be assistance?
the government
So it is not assisting someone to return to Australia to provide them with the documents they need to enter Australia?
well, it's
I understand your discomfort.
no, it's
in
not.
answering
I
these
think
questions.
it's just a sort of a clever way of asking the same question.
Thank you,
That's
Senator
all.
Wong. It's very kind.
So Penny Wong can get spaced. If I
I didn't
haven't spaced her
understand any
before,
of that.
You don't understand any of that. Well, it's about the returning of ISIS brides to Australia and how they're being let back in, and not only possibly being let back in, but being helped on how to get back in.
What's an
to
ISIS
Australia.
bride?
The women that went over with their husbands to fight for ISIS.
Oh. Yeah,
Yeah,
where are they going to go?
actual,
Don't
like-
send them here.
Yeah.
You can have them.
Yeah, they
Some
probably
people
have a
love
better
it.
chance of getting spaced here.
But that's the complete retardation we are dealing with when the people supposedly in charge can't even answer a simple question.
Well, because
when
they
they
know
are
it's not
meant
going to look good. The truth is going to look bad, so they got to be like, oh shit, how can I phrase this in a way that doesn't look like exactly what it is? Like, yes, you're like providing coaches on like how to game the Australian immigration system to get back into Australia.
Which, you know,
The U.S.
stance
government
was-
does with Mexicans and has done with Mexicans all the time. Or what the U.S. government does is it gives grant money to organizations that do that on behalf of Mexicans trying to get into.
because the stance, I mean, back then, you know, there was different leadership and different party in charge when the ISIS stuff was happening. But back then, the stance was, you go, you don't come back.
Is there a term you'd rather use that's less offensive than Mexican? What's wrong with Mexican? Oh my gosh.
What?
It's from The Office when Michael's talking to
Yeah.
Oscar. Is like, is there something less offensive than Mexican you like? He's like, what's wrong with Mexican? Oh my gosh, man. Brilliant writing. All right. We gotta give the crowd what they want. We're not doing voting or anything like that. Let's see. I'm looking at the Spank Bank. I mean the file reserves here.
Play the clip I put in a DM group.
What?
The one of the sport.
It covers a lot of bases.
What DM group?
Like the spacers. Hold on, I'm trying to find it. God damn. We all talk too much.
I don't see it.
It was a while ago.
That
Okay.
long ago.
But in the grand scheme of things, it was a while ago scrolling.
Yeah, I suppose.
All right. Leia's on the beach with the blaster that doesn't go with the costume. So nice hair.
Are you going to deduct points for law inaccuracies?
Well, the costume itself is pretty good, right? I won't deduct any points. There's no tattoos either, so that's always a plus. So there you go, E-Clay. I hope you're happy with the booty. Now, what clip are you talking about? Yeah, I don't know if we should show that.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we better not, because there's, you know how it is.
Just a little spanking.
No, I've seen that though. I've seen it on television and stuff. It's good programming.
Very wholesome.
Send your complaint letters to Open Airlock Policy for not showing that clip. All the chat.
Yeah. All right, guys. Yeah, again, 3 hours here. It's about 2:00 in the morning. We've got to go. So, see you next week. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the donations. Thanks for continuing to be a member of the channel, guys. We'll see you next week. Like I said, have a great one. USA.
A lot of people make jokes about spacing somebody, about shoving somebody out an airlock. I don't think it's funny.